Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the size, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, Sam Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the spec. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing space type of stream for you guys today. It's Bitcoin Blitz number 7, hosted by the great guys over at Tokyo. So the last couple of days, we had the great Keto, one of the co-founders there. But today, we have the great Zushan joining us today. He goes by Chaz, which is absolutely awesome. These guys from this team is absolutely really amazing people. We've been talking to them for a while, and what they're building over there is, they were a wallet on Cardano, but they're actually cross-chain now. They're going to be in a lot of different places. The biggest place that we hope is the biggest for them is Bitcoin, because we believe that Bitcoin is a place for builders. Bitcoin is a place for advancement in technology, and I think it all begins here. It all started here. It should all continue here as well, right? So we're looking forward to that. The show today, guys, absolutely jam-packed. I mean, Maestro, one of the builders that I truly believe is going to build something amazing here on Bitcoin, and they've already built some amazing stuff. They're teaming up with Arch to do some stuff there, but they're everywhere right now. They're going to be like the API guru. Everyone's going to use Maestro on Bitcoin. Really bullish on them. Tap's OG, right? Benny's been here for a long time. Fluid, Raul, we have Fluid Friday here, so you guys know about Raul. He's a legend, obviously. BTCOS, they're building pretty crazy stuff there. Really looking forward to that. Sundial, we got Ada handle, Bodega, Cardano, Omen, and JellyCubes. So it's going to be a long one. So hang out with us, learn. Bitcoin right now is being really headline driven, and there's no headlines right now. So the best thing to do is kind of focus on learning, kind of focus on educating yourself on the projects that could potentially really explode this upcoming bull cycle. And we believe that we're headed into one. So you guys are going to be ready for this, right? By just watching these spaces, especially the Blitz segment. I mean, we're 7 of 16. We got a long way to go, halfway through. Really looking forward to the rest of them. But without further ado, let's get start it. Bring in my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, dude? How you feeling, man? Thank you for holding it down yesterday. You killed it 100%, man. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes me appreciate you a lot more, right? Knowing that you have that task of bringing that immense energy in for the intro and all that stuff. But yeah, yesterday was great. The Bitcoin Blitz has been an amazing campaign, right? You don't really see a lot of this with new projects into the Bitcoin ecosystem. What you might see is a space, maybe one or two, just to get acquainted. What they're doing is putting together the series of education and saying, hey, look, we're not just here to say, hey, just use our product. We want to be a part of the education, and they're learning as well about what's here. So excited to jump in today. Cardano and Bitcoin, the synergy's been happening for over a year, but we're starting to see more and more. And you hit on some of these key players, from Cardano that started and now they're still in Cardano, but they're just also building and assisting over here for the Bitcoin ecosystem with the expansion of it. So excited to get into it. Some house cleaning, keeping items here real quick. So congratulations to our guy, Chief AXL. You were the winner for yesterday. Every Spaces, whether it's on a video stream with us or a regular Spaces, Tokeo has been generous enough to give away at least 13,000 dog go to the moon tokens. All you have to do is really simple. Go to either the Apple App Store or Google Play, download the Tokeo Wallet app, take a screenshot of that, then head over to the X's stream, and then in the comments, post that screenshot and you will have a shot to win. It's very simple. The instructions are simple to win. And who doesn't want more dog tokens, right? So excited to get into it today, though.
Yeah, yesterday Guido was a little excited. He was like, "Let's go 20,000." I was like, "Yeah, this guy's killed it." Because I was going back to the timestamp, and incredible episode. But I'm excited for this one. So without further ado, let's bring in the representative of over at Tokyo today, man. Thank you so much for joining us, Chaz.
What's up? How's it going, everybody? How we doing?
Doing good, man. We're doing good. A lot of energy with these Blitz streams and spaces, but Bitcoin's looking good. Everybody's talking about possible alt season, right? But until we're confirmed in there, I think everybody needs to really lock in and learn as much as possible. And that's what this is kind of about, right?
Absolutely. And what is it? We're like 8 or 9 in now. That's insane. Like, these have gone by so fast. And this is the first time. Well, I did the first space with you guys yesterday, which I'll be very, very honest. Old mate Elon's got to step up his game, because we were having a lot of coordination while also talking. I was co-host on there, but I could not even speak. Like, it was all happening. So I'm really excited with the live streams. I'm so glad. And, to everyone who's watching, and if you're watching for the first time, coming in from the Tokyo side, go give the OnChain Revolution guys a follow on X. Go subscribe to them on YouTube, like it, retweet it, tune in. They do this every day, so it's definitely worth your value. If you would genuinely want to learn about Bitcoin, we talk about Cardano, Bitcoin, integration, interoperability, all that jazz. I think it's very, very, very important to understand and learn about what's going on the Bitcoin side as well. And there's no one better to be telling you what is going on than Shizzy and Yagobi over here. So go show them some love, because we've been having a lot of fun for the past 7 or 8 episodes and spaces and streams. But I suspect we're going to have a large number of people on this one who haven't tuned in yet.
Yeah, 100%. And I just want to give you a shout out too, because it's not easy to come on camera. What Guido did and what you're doing today has been phenomenal, because a lot of people don't realize that having a visual strategy, showing your face, showing your personality is a huge deal, especially when you're building a community. Right. So what you guys are doing and allowing us to be there with you guys to do this is absolutely amazing. And it's almost like next level, because it's easy to get on spaces and just talk, right? It's easy to be in your car, and you're just talking, but actually be here and sitting here with the builders, that's game changing. That's next level.
Oh, absolutely, right. And I think that the key, the thing I always laugh about with spaces is that I'm kind of like sitting around having conversations with another set of people outside of the space, jump back on and talk a little bit over here. You don't really pay attention, or, you're lying in bed and you're kind of like, oh yeah, g'day, mate, how's it going? So this makes it much, this tells you that, we're all dedicated. You guys do this every day. We're rocking up. Myself and Guido are sort of more of the two people on the team. Also, 2 out of the 3 founders who do prefer being on screen a lot more. So we're kind of happy to cook it. But we thought he'll do half, I do the other half, and we split it up that way. So it doesn't get too stagnant either, right? With the same Tokyo people showing up each time. So really pumped to jump into this. This is a topic close to my heart, and keen to kind of dive in with you guys and, hopefully come out of it with a lot more knowledge than we had prior.
Absolutely. And really quick, I'm going to bring LeBoom up from ChaChing because they are also helping us co-host this, right? So LeBoom, welcome to the stage as our co-host. How are you doing?
All good, Yagobi. All good. Hey, Shizzy. I think, yeah, very excited. Very excited. In fact, I mean, me and Zushan were just together discussing about all of these things, and
I haven't seen him in months. I don't know what he's talking about. Like an hour ago.
yeah. But I'm really excited about this. I think this is a very, very great initiative where we not just showcase what products are there, but even educate the audience about everything that is happening in the space, because sometimes those kinds of education, they get missed out. And if you have those kinds of things, then these people and the community also tries and they relate more to the product, they relate more to the team, the founders, and it makes things easier and like overall grows the ecosystem in a much better and a stronger way. So I'm really, really excited about what's coming. And today we have like a very, very interesting lineup already. So yeah, let's I think we can jump into that. Yeah.
Absolutely. But before we do, guys, make sure you smash that like on YouTube and X and share these spaces, guys. It's all about education. We want as many people in here as possible. We got about almost 200 total, so it's a great start. But let's kick things off with Maestro. Shizzy gave them a great intro, and we have Marvin representing Maestro. We know that they're definitely busy, but we want them to break down what they are bringing. So let's invite Marvin up to the stage. Marvin, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Sorry, I don't have the camera on. I'm in a cafe and I just had a red eye. So, Potty, I'll save you the the visuals, but happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you. And hey, look, our audience has seen your beautiful mug multiple times. We've had you on with us, so no worries about the profile picture there. But maybe if you could do a quick 2-minute intro of what Maestro is. We all on stage know what it is, but there's a lot of people that don't know what Maestro is. From even like the Cardano roots to what you guys have brought over to the Bitcoin ecosystem would be really great.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in general, building on Bitcoin, building on blockchain is difficult. And so Maestro's mission is to support developers and making building dApps easier. That's really kind of our core MO, and that's what we've been doing from day one. And yeah, we got started on Cardano, helping on the UTXO side and really supporting some of the top projects like Tokeo and many projects that we know, like Fluid. And then we moved to Bitcoin, like a lot of projects as well. A lot of the tech that we've built around UTXO indexing, UTXO APIs, and RPCs were very transferable to the needs of what people need on Bitcoin with boots and ordinals. And so we just kind of expanded the mission, and now we're one of the leading infra provider on Bitcoin, providing really high performance developer tools for many of the top Bitcoin projects, building incredible apps and really innovating. So we're just having a blast, and yeah, we work day in, day out with developers. We spend a lot of time chatting with them, and yeah, it's always great to see projects expand and succeed. And yeah, big fan of Tokyo. They've been working. Yeah, these people work insanely hard, nonstop. I've known them from the beginning, even before Tokyo was Tokyo, and I can really vouch for them.
Absolutely. We've known you guys have been building for a while over in the Bitcoin ecosystem, I want to say over a year. But, from like another chain, I would think that Bitcoin would not be attractive to build on from a tech stack, approach. What attracted you to build over here? And what do you feel, I guess, Maestro, like, where's the mutual benefit, do you feel like, with the Bitcoin chain and Maestro?
Well, I think Bitcoin is is clearly a category winner in terms of liquidity and market cap, and you see all these other L1s innovating on the tech side, and you see people really pushing smart contracts technology and innovation, which is great. But no one has been able to really dethrone Bitcoin as the largest market cap. And so it shows that it's not just about technology, it's also about liquidity and network effect. And so Bitcoin has something really special, right? And you see it now in this cycle with the adoption of corporations, stacking Bitcoin, and then institutions, and banks, and then even nation states. Bitcoin is special, and I think it's clearly in its category of its own. But there are many things that you can't do on Bitcoin and you can do on other chains. So how do we help Bitcoin kind of extend its functionality, extend its suitability, and just make it more useful and increase in more cases? Because clearly Bitcoin is not going anywhere. If anything, it just becomes stronger every year. And so for us, it's like, okay, we are experts in the UTXO ledger model, and there are so many things we could build on Bitcoin that hasn't been built yet. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, 100%. And you guys are more of a B2B product, right? Business to business. I'm curious, what projects are you guys currently working with and for?
Yeah, I mean, Tokeo has been using, working with them closely on the Cardano side, and now Bitcoin. We work with Fluid. We're also expanding in L2, so we have a close partnership with Arch. We're actually the first and only infra provider that support Arch right now. So if you're building on Arch, right, you can go to our platform and use APIs. This week we announced a partnership with Middle as well, which is a Bitcoin L2. It's an EVM compatible Bitcoin L2. And then the week before that, we announced a partnership with Ducat, which is building a stablecoin natively on Bitcoin. And these are all like extremely talented teams, very veteran engineers and entrepreneurs coming to Bitcoin and kind of building all these things. So we'll probably are going to announce like new partnerships, every week for the next 2 months. So we work with a lot of people. But these are the last ones that we've kind of been announcing with.
Yeah, 100%. And the way Matt from Arch talks about you guys, he makes it seem like without you, Arch is not possible. So which is absolutely awesome, man. I'm really, really bullish on what you guys are building, especially. I mean, you guys are building the foundation here, building something truly special.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in as well and kind of say that I don't think, if you look at kind of the expansion out for UTXO blockchains, right? Marvin and the team at Maestro have kind of been, I would say, almost the pioneers of doing that across UTXO, right? In particular, we've seen a lot of this now. Obviously we have a live stream up where we've got all these products from 2 different chains. We're going to be doing some other streams and spaces down the line that will have other chains that are interacting with Bitcoin. But when it predominantly comes to UTXO chain expansion, I don't think anyone has come close to kind of the depth and the level and breadth of what the guys over at Maestro have sort of done. And essentially they've been trailblazers, right? Like I think a big part of Tokyo expanding out to Bitcoin was a lot of conversations with Marvin and the team over there. So you got to give credit where it's due. These guys are doing incredible things. And, the fact that they have all these different businesses now across both chains and Doge as well, for that matter, which we were not even touching on, using Maestro, for their infrastructure, that's testament in itself. So we're really, really excited at Tokyo to be working alongside these guys and kind of their future as well.
Yeah. I mean, you said it perfectly, right? And I mentioned earlier, we've seen them build this entire time. Obviously, there's challenges because from an API provider, like an infrastructure API provider, you look at the Bitcoin ecosystem and you're like, for me, I would think that's like a huge headache, right? But you guys are able to really kind of build, I think, like this library, right? What is your approach to that, right? Because we're hearing from builders that Solana's API library is a mess, but I can't imagine like the Bitcoin API library being like this organized, library. But what's your approach to making that possible?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no secret. Every chain, like grass is always greener, but every chain is built on the hard work of core devs building either libraries, open source protocols or abstractions and providers, and you've got to solve these hard problems. But the nice thing with software is that when you solve these hard problems once, then it's solved for everyone, right? So that's why we want to come in. We had, our expertise. We know kind of how to optimize UTXO indexing, how to handle what we call like UTXO resolution, and then what we have to do is also block reorg or block rollbacks. So because this is a Nakamoto consensus, every block doesn't necessarily achieve finality right away. You may get blocks that get reorged and roll back. And so how do you build an indexing pipeline that is able to index in real time, but also automatically correct and revert blocks once they've been reorged, and do that in real time without ever affecting, the data validity. So here I'm diving in a bit more in the technical side to kind of give you a sense of what's happening under the hood. Is this complex data processing pipeline that is built on a decentralized network, and there's no one source of truth actually. At the tip, depending on which node you query, the state of the blockchain is slightly different, and you have rollbacks happening continuously. And then on top of that, if you add the complexity of the mempool, so now we're spending a lot of time indexing the mempool. And so the mempool is even more complex because transactions that are unconfirmed are being added and removed constantly as transactions get sniped or transactions get reorganized based on fee rates. And then the miners are kind of building these block templates to be mined. And so all of that stuff, right, we need to kind of understand the dynamics, understand how the network operates, and then be able to efficiently index the data, and then provide as a simple API. So from the developer's perspective, right, they don't even need to think about that stuff, and they don't even need to worry about it. They just query the data, and then they can assume that the data they're getting is correct. But not knowing that under the hood, there's this like complex sets of pipelines and systems that have like false safes and protections, so that you don't have to worry about that. So that's really what we concern ourselves with, and it's really kind of like a core skill, right, that we just refined over the years, and we've really built a lot of intuition and infrastructure to make that possible, so that as a user you can focus on what matters, which is your application, your UI, your user experience, and not have to be concerned, on Sunday night about like, why is my data not correct? Why is my data out of sync? We can handle that. So it's about dividing, responsibilities. We take care of the infrastructure, and then you can focus on your application and try to make your product as good as possible.
Yeah, I'd just like to add, I think with Go Maestro, ChaChing also uses Go Maestro APIs, because we are also like building on Arch and all that, and it has been really amazing. Like Marvin rightly mentioned, like through the APIs and the entire infrastructure that Go Maestro has, projects and builders can just focus on building their protocols and dApps and products, and Go Maestro takes care of the back end heavy lifting that otherwise would take a lot of resources from a lot of these apps and protocols, like dev resources, time to go to market, and those kinds of things. So yeah, I mean, Marvin, I just had a question. You would be talking to so many projects, have so many partnerships in place. What are the most exciting use cases that you're seeing right now from the ecosystem and even the early adopters currently?
My hope is that Bitcoin DeFi that will see emerging is not just going to be a copy of DeFi on Ethereum. I think because of the UTXO model and the trade-offs, but also the advantage, I think we have a real opportunity to innovate and just do a different type of DeFi, and with its own experience. And I think that's how we're going to grow as an ecosystem, is just build something different that feels different. And already you see it, right? It's hard to build pools. And so you could see it as a disadvantage, but that means now you can build like order book marketplaces, which also have their own advantage, where you can have like clever matching engines, and you can pair that with maybe a lending protocol and do like margin trading. And you can create an experience that just is not possible on EVM. So I really like projects that are thinking from first principles and are saying like, okay, I'm not just doing a copy paste of what's been successful on Ethereum, but I'm gonna deeply think about how UTXOs work and what they can give me, and then design something from the ground up. And it's the same thing we're seeing with L2s. The way these L2s are being built, even if they're like the smart contract and the account model is EVM, the way the bridges are built and the way we are selling back to Bitcoin is using like a very UTXO specific architecture. Like with Arch, you're able to commit to a UTXO, run a smart contracts, and then commit back that UTXO back on chain within one block. And kind of abstract away the bridge, right? And that's why they're saying like it's kind of bridgeless, because you kind of like bridge in and bridge out within the same transaction, and you're able to do a lot of like clever stuff. So I think a lot of things like this is gonna become just more innovation and just different from Ethereum. And I think that's how it should be, right? Same thing with Lightning. We're seeing people continue to push things with Lightning. Recently, Spark launched a kind of Lightning alternative that's really optimized for stablecoin payments. And it's extremely scalable. It's extremely cheap to transact and fast. And again, like you cannot build Lightning on Ethereum, because it's just Lightning is a UTXO only scaling layer. And then we've got like ZK coming out, which also ZK will feel and be easier on UTXOs than on EVM. And so ZK applications are going to feel very different. So yeah, I'm just looking at all these things that obviously are still in progress, and either in testnet or even some of these things just being designed and experimented with. But I think within the next 3 to 6 months, we're going to see really innovative protocols come on Bitcoin and stand out in a way that is just kind of like unique to Bitcoin.
Absolutely. And I think you guys came to the Bitcoin ecosystem at the perfect time, because it seems like you guys are offering a solution of infrastructure APIs for every kind of approach here. And the fact that you guys were able to help build DeFi on Cardano, which was not an easy task, gives a lot of confidence. So super exciting. I know you're super busy. So last question to send you out is any big announcements for Maestro, or any partnership announcements or anything like that you'd like to maybe announce here?
I'll reiterate to the announcement from this week. Yeah, we're going to be supporting Middle, which is a EVM-based Solidity compatible Bitcoin L2. It's a great team, very talented. They've had a lot of successful projects in the past. I recommend checking them out. And then we definitely have some big announcements coming up very soon as well, but I can't say more right now.
Gotcha. Well, Marvin, as always, we appreciate your time. We know you're super busy, and we look forward to Maestro building the library of APIs for the Bitcoin ecosystem and being the go-to place. So thank you so much, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Take care. Bye.
Same Marvin.
Take it easy.
Absolutely awesome, man. I really enjoy talking to hearing from Marvin. Like we've been lucky enough to hear him speak a few times on Arch Thursdays, and really looking forward to Arch launching in July, and them being the backbone of that.
Absolutely.
Sure. I know our next guest's got to run a little bit quickly, so maybe we just bring him on, huh?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sheldon Hunt from Sundial, I believe. Is that correct? And let's welcome Sheldon to the stage. Sheldon, how are you doing?
Yo, guys, I'm glorious. Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Sure can.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
Wonderful. Well, yeah. So Shaz, thank you very much for introducing me. And as he was saying, I'm here in Toronto for Consensus, and I've got to run for another meeting in
Oh
a
no.
little bit. So we're going to do this on fast forward if it's all right with you guys.
Hey, we're down for that. If you could just do a quick like intro, what Sundial is, why you guys decided to also build on Bitcoin and kind of knock it out in one shot here.
One go. Okay. Absolutely. Well, so I've been very privileged to have actually known Marvin and the Maestro guys for a few years, and Shaz now for a few years, because like I think a few of the Bitcoin developers hanging around these days, a lot of us have been in the trenches over on the Cardano side for years, playing around with UTXOs and smart contracts and what could be done with UTXO DeFi. And we're now using a lot of those skill sets over on the Bitcoin side of things. So it's a pretty cool thing kind of coming full circle. So I've been in Bitcoin since 2013. I was one of the small cohorts of guys that thought this was kind of cool in Hong Kong. Actually, I used to be like a diplomat based out there, and it's been a wild ride ever since. I didn't think it would take off the way it has, but here we are. And what I'm building with Sundial protocols actually a primarily UTXO focused layer 2 for Bitcoin. But once again, like I was mentioning, I'm building on top of the Cardano tech stack. Because we think, all right, there's a lot of Solana plays, there's lots of EVM plays. Why don't we have a truly authentic UTXO experience all the way through? Security is the number one. No compromises there. Because again and again, it's something I bring up. It's like, if you're going to want to pull trillions of dollars of assets on chain, you're going to want to do it on something that's super secure. No slippages, no kind of hacks. And so that's like the high level of what we're building out. And so we're looking to launch testnet in probably about 2 months. And then full mainnet launch end of this year. And that's kind of like the highest high of what we're at. But there's so many moving pieces, many more partnerships to come because we're just actually beginning our adventure. We're just getting into strides of like where we go from here. So expect a lot more.
I love it, man.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Oh,
Shaz.
I just wanted you've been cooking very, very hard. Especially you've done, over the time that I've known you, you've done so many different things, but Sundial is really where it's at. And, we can always tell with the sort of passion and zeal that you have for what you're building on this front, right? Tell us a little bit about like, what can you tell us about where you're at with Sundial now? Is there anything that, you'd like to share on that front? Because I know a lot of people are excited. There's a lot of conversation about it. And you mentioned that, there are sort of L2s on being built on Solana. There are L2s on obviously being built using EVM, etc., that are linked to Bitcoin. But you've taken this approach of kind of utilizing Cardano, right? Yeah. To build that Bitcoin Cardano kind of interoperability. So drop some of that, because I think a lot of people on the Bitcoin side are still, a lot of people do know about it, but a lot of people are still trying to understand, and you guys are kind of at the forefront of it.
Yeah, well, absolutely. It's a great question, dude. So like, I'm of the opinion, the very strong opinion, that Bitcoin is perfect the way it is. There isn't any need to change it. I think like some of the stuff with OPCAT and other things, like they're very like commendable, but I don't think it's really like necessary. I don't know if it's like the right way forward. And so this is where we're quite different from a lot of other layer 2s, and it's kind of in our name, right? We perceive Bitcoin to be basically perfect. It is the sun by which like everything else rotates around. And trying to expect Bitcoin to change for us doesn't make any sense. So instead, we are changing for Bitcoin. And that's like the huge thing that we can do, being on the Cardano tech stack, being like also UTXO. We can shift and we can actually encompass like Bitcoin to allow for it to then kind of be expressed in smart contracts on the Cardano, or in this case, the Sundial side. And so that is, I think, one big like advantage where there's no compromises to Bitcoin whatsoever, like zero. We keep it the way it is. And I think that's how governments, individuals in the community, it's how like financial managers, it's how most people are going to want to interact with Bitcoin. They're going to want it as it was truly meant to be. But like, I think like our secret sauce in all this, besides like the whole kind of narrative around keeping Bitcoin, is also the ability to have on day one a very thriving ecosystem on the Sundial side. And I say this with some confidence because I previously actually was the head of the Cardano ecosystem, did that for quite some time.
Wow.
I know all the players there. And I can tell you with absolute confidence, basically 90% of Cardano maxis are Bitcoin maxis. And so we've got people who are waiting, chomping at the bit for this to come together. And I think like when we get it all together, we're going to go live with some momentum that many other layer twos can't really compete with. But of course, like the big focus on all of this, we've got to have non-custodial solutions, and we've got to have yield generation that is real. We got to have DeFi that is, as Marvin was saying, different than what we've been kind of currently seeing. We've got to get quite creative with what we can do here, primarily because of the advantages of having a deterministic UTXO experience. So that's some of what we're cooking that I'm very excited about, that I think is going to be totally different from what else is offered.
Yeah, I think that's super exciting. We don't get to hear about too many UTXO layer twos, and so I commend you for taking that leap. And I think that the devs are going to be a lot more familiar with building UTXO to UTXO. Right? We've already seen it with some of these Cardano devs coming over here, but we appreciate you, Sheldon. We know you got to run. I'm excited to play around with Sundial when it's ready, testnet, etc. And we'd love to have you on for like a recorded episode to do a proper introduction fully to the Bitcoin ecosystem of Sundial.
I am in. You just let me know when. But guys, thank you so much for your understanding. Thank you so much for hosting. It's awesome to see you guys. Thank you for all the work you guys do. And yeah, I can't wait to be back on.
Sounds great.
Yeah, man. Let's do when you guys launch testnet. Let's schedule a website. I would love to walk through, and I think that would be an amazing content creation episode if you're down.
I'm down, 100% down.
Awesome.
Sounds
So
good.
we're
Sheldon.
obviously integrating Tokyo and Sundial, right? That's going to happen. I think it's a no. It's a
obvious.
no-brainer.
No
We
brainer.
sat down so many times. I think that's obviously happening. Just saying it here on live stream.
Yeah, well, we're making it. It's happening. And there's a few others who are also going to be on this space that are also plugging in. But yeah,
Hell yeah.
you'll see.
go.
You'll see. It's coming together.
Love to hear it.
Sounds good.
Love to hear it. All right, Sheldon, we will catch you later, sir.
All right. All the best, gentlemen. We'll see you.
Take it
you,
easy.
man.
Thanks, Sheldon.
Phenomenal. Blown away. I mean, what other UTXO layer twos? I mean, I know
Fractal.
one maybe. I mean, but that's that's the only one.
I think it's because it's it's a challenging approach if you don't have experienced people with it.
Yeah.
And it seems like Sheldon has that experience. He's leader of the Cardano ecosystem. But just really quick before we go to the next guest, I'd love both of your thoughts on Sheldon and Sundial. Shaz, what do you think?
Yeah, look, I think Sheldon is a very well-resourced, connected, and switched-on bloke, essentially. I've hung out with him multiple times in Dubai and Hong Kong recently. And on top of that, he's working with some really, really great partners to build out Sundial. So I think there's no doubt in my mind that if anyone is to build something of this nature out successfully, it's going to be Sundial. They have the technical know-how, they have the connects, they're obviously showing up and engaging and interacting. So I'm a big fan. And, like I said, Sheldon knows what he's doing. So I'm really excited to obviously see as things come out and play out. And, it's Tokyo will integrate when it's ready to happen. So that was, I just said it on the stream. That's going to happen anyway.
Love to hear it. Some alpha there. LeBoom, I'm curious about your opinion. You're not probably used to hearing about the UTXO layer twos, but that could be a good approach. What's your opinion on this take?
Yeah, I think it's definitely unique. I should really say that, and I think the guys at Sundial really know what they're doing. They have been, like you mentioned, like OG in the Cardano ecosystem, with them actually being the heads of the ecosystem. So they actually know all the problems that they want to solve on the Cardano side as well. And if you go deeper on the Sundial, on the entire tech stack of how the Sundial protocol is, they've got a lot of amazing features. Like they would have like optimistic roll-up architectures. They would have like ZK bridges. Probably not just that, they would also have like an institutional grade kind of a compliance, which I think is really needed if you want to do something like an L2, but like a UTXO based, and get in those institutions to be able to use and even create projects and protocols like that. So I'm pretty interested and excited about how the entire space around and the narrative around Sundial would kind of turn up, and I would love to even use the testnet and probably see how we can bring ChaChing on Sundial, because I think if Sundial, once it goes to mainnet, it can be a key bridge between like Cardano and Bitcoin as well, right? So I mean, it's very interesting, and I'm really excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you heard from Marvin himself from Maestro that said that that these ZK kind of optimistic rollups too, that they benefit the UTXO chain side more than EVM. So this is where that could really plug in here. But yeah, any particular builder you want to head to next, or you want to let me kind of roll the dice here?
I think some people are jumping on a little bit later. So do we have everyone? Is everyone waiting?
Yeah.
Roll the dice, mate.
Okay, let's do it. But before we do that, before I roll this dice, remember Tokeo is giving away 13,000 Doggo to the Moon tokens. It's very simple. All you have to do is go to the Apple App Store if you have an iPhone, or Google Play if you have an Android. Download the Tokeo wallet. Make sure it's the right app, and then go to the X Spaces that's live streaming, and take a screenshot of the download and comment that screenshot into the comment section of the live stream on X, and then you will have a shot to win. It's really easy instructions there. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll the dice here, and I'm gonna pull up the guy that's showing his face kind of down there, Cory Collombet. I want to say, and I'm probably butchered that. I'm so sorry. But I think he is representing, I want to say, JellyCubes. Let's welcome Cory to the stage.
Bodega. I think
Bodega.
That would be Bodega.
Bodega. I apologize. Bodega.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you guys. Hey, Chaz. Yeah.
Hey, how's it going, mate?
Great to be here. Great to be here. I was actually with Sheldon like yesterday, and Maestro was there as well. We were all at the Draper Summit, hanging out together and meeting investors, etc. So, great stuff. Well, thanks for organizing everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically, what is Bodega? Basically, we're building a prediction market, open source on Cardano with a leading prediction market. We started to build back in October and got an MVP out pretty quickly, and we have a working platform now with about 1,000 users in total. We had so. It's been a fun time just adding features and getting our app ready and having the best user experience so people can actually wager on the outcomes of elections or on sports or on the price of the S&P 500. Our main focus at the moment is basically on the trading of shares. So we don't have that feature yet to allow you to buy and sell your positions. Similar to Polymarket and Kalshi, who are kind of dominating the prediction market industry. I think they had over 11 billion in volume just in 2024. And some of their bets, like the Trump-Harris, had like 3 billion. So a huge opportunity if we can, tap in that volume, as well as we kind of want to differentiate ourselves from them because they're doing what they do very well. So what we're creating is a creator economy around our token. And anyone can become a market creator by purchasing a certain amount of Bodega. It's at the moment it's 50,000. And what that allows you to do is basically allows people to create their own market and kind of build a decentralized bookmaker model where you can earn a percentage of the volume. So it brings a lot of people who want to earn and yield on their ADA by creating markets, creative markets, and advertising it and making the volume greater to earn 2% of that. So I'll give you just an example. If you submitted a market and your particular market did 100K in volume, you'd earn like 2K ADA. So that's kind of the model we're bringing, which we think is pretty cool because it incentivizes people to kind of, be part of the community, but also they'll come in and they'll share all their market on X, and it's just a fun way to use your crypto. And on the Bitcoin side of thing is we aim to be one of the first prediction market, linked to Bitcoin, and we think it's a great fit, and it would be amazing. So we're working closely with partners like Sundial, Fluid. Last week we met with Ivan from the BitcoinOS, and we were talking about doing demos of moving CNTs, the Cardano native tokens from Bitcoin to Cardano, or even move Cardano tokens to Bitcoin, and we were looking at what we could do. That'd be fun. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell, basically.
Yeah.
Will this be like the depositing system? Will I have to be depositing, or everything's on chain?
No, it's all on chain, and that's the other thing. Those platforms are custodial. We are non-custodial, so we don't hold any assets. You just connect your wallet and you interact. And basically, how it works is when you place a bet, NFT is minted. For example, yes or no, with the ID of the bet, and where you can later claim your rewards if you want. So that's the process. Yeah.
That's such an interesting approach, and I actually love that. Whenever you make your selection, you have an NFT that shows proof of what you did. It's on chain, that type of approach. And one thing I will say is that look, we are in this weird time in crypto to where memes are outperforming utility by a ton, and but that is going to change if crypto is going to have sustainability and mass adoption. And revenue share, in my opinion, is the absolute game changer for a normie to get into, be able to not have to be a certified investor or anything like that, can just get into a project's token, participate, and then find a way to where they can earn, right? So I guess, my last question for you is, what's your approach to the Bitcoin side? It seems like Sundial is what you guys are going to go into and kind of let Sundial do the scaling. And then, so is that how you guys are going to integrate with Bitcoin that way?
Yes, exactly. We'll work closely with them, and there's Fluid tokens coming later. So all those guys are working together. We also have one of our devs who is building, who is helping on Midgard as well. So it's all kind of connected. And yeah, we won't, let's put it that way. We will be relying on their bridges and their stuff, but we're really close to them, and Sheldon and I been hanging out for the last 5 weeks together, and yeah, there's some great dynamics, and we think we've seen some live demos on how this works, and it's possible, and it works. So we're very excited to tap in that ecosystem. Like he said, most of us are Bitcoin and Cardano. So yeah, very excited about what's gonna happen, and yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I'm pumped to see how things play out, and obviously there is always, I feel, room for something like what you guys are doing to expand out to Bitcoin, right? So I'm super pumped, man. I've seen you guys from before you even launched, so very, very excited to kind of see how it plays out. I've used the product, and it's solid and it works well, so credit to you for that, mate. We still haven't met up in person, though. I hope that changes soon.
True. I think we missed each other in Hong Kong because we didn't go to the main side event. Hey,
Yeah, for sure, mate.
Great stuff, Cory. I think one thing that caught my attention was you said it's completely on chain. So I just had a follow up to that. Like, how do you manage the outcomes? Like, how are they verified? How are they like resolved? Do you have like oracles? You've got some kind of governance that happens, or there's some other kind of a mechanism to that?
So both currently, it's the Oracle solution in Cardano is quite centralized. There is some options, but for our use case, it's very you kind of have to have like customized. Oracle solution works well for like price feed and stuff, but when it comes to like complex resolution, it's kind of complicated. So we have our own internal system and internal Oracle. We're also looking into AI on how, in the future we can have like solid, maybe decentralized AI systems that help resolve complex resolution. So that we added that to our roadmap as well. The other thing is governance is really important to us. So we definitely plan to integrate a government system. We already like kind of do votes and stuff when there's important decision, and like sometimes something will happen, an unforeseen event, and there needs to be like a sort of vote on what do we do if we refund or so governance. We've been talking closely with Clarity, who are also here in San Mateo for 5 weeks. So we're talking closely with them, and I'd like to integrate their SDK directly in our platform, so we can have like a governance system that's just there and reward users for interacting and voting and kind of try to gamify that as well. So that's the plan.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. I didn't think about that. Like a predictions market where the holders of the token can actually say, let's just say, Chiefs Eagles, right? And whoever won to figure it out, they all bet, hey, the Eagles won this. But then if you have people trying to steal it, you can get penalized because you're holding the tokens, right? Very similar to how normal things are. It's actually really smart. Slashing. So if you try to go the other way, you potentially can get slashed by the ecosystem. I love this. This is actually really genius.
The only issue with that I see is the time it would take. But I do like what you said about the AI integration, because I do think AI is going to get to a point to where it can just solve that challenge period pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like we need like the quickest automation possible for the resolution. But what I'm talking is like, for governance, we like voting on directions or like on if there's a problem, then you can ask the community. The only thing with what you were saying, Shizi, is that right. I don't know if you've seen, like a month ago, something happened on Polymarket where one of the Oracle with their system, I don't know if it's they have a voting power or something, but basically they resolved. A guy tipped the balance by making it resolve the wrong way with the mineral deals, and like there was 1 million at stake, and basically like it resolved in the wrong way, and a lot of people lost money, and people were pissed off because people like those guys were influencing the result, and that shouldn't happen. That's fully centralized, so we don't really want that to happen.
Yeah, for sure. And I do love this product, and can't wait till you you guys, is it in testnet right now, or
So it's live. It's live on mainnet, but at the moment you can only place a bet on one or the other side, and you cannot sell your position yet.
Okay.
So we had over 600K ADA in volume since launch, it's been really fun. The next feature that's coming out in testnet, probably like internally, we start testing this week. It's like the trading of shares, and that will be the really exciting feature, because you can then arbitrage during like events, buy, sell, and we think the volume will like 5x to 10x on that feature only. So that's coming, like, I guess in a couple of weeks of testnet for public.
It's a great product. Try it out. You can do it one further when you can actually go on to Tokyo and then connect to Bodega and try it out through Tokyo as well. So then that's a double whammy for both myself and Cory there. So
exactly. So please use the mobile OS. Please use Tokyo. It's I think 50% of our users are mobile as well. So having that through you guys and without wallets like you guys, we wouldn't be able to do it in the current state because we'd have to launch an app, which massive shout out to you guys. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, brother. Thank you. Likewise.
Awesome. Well, Cory, thank you so much for your time, guys. Cory, the founder of Bodega, basically broke it down for you guys. And so we look forward to messing with it. Shizzy and I definitely are going to dive into it, mess with it, and look forward to future updates from you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate for having me. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, please go check out the playoffs or those games. It's pretty hot at the moment, so.
Yep. NBA is where it's at. All right, Cory, we will talk to you soon, sir.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Really, really awesome. It's really cool being we're Bitcoin focused, right? So seeing a lot of these Cardano apps, actually seeing what they're doing is actually really cool, and seeing how the progression is happening, especially on Cardano, because I think a year ago you didn't have any of this stuff.
It's definitely ramped up. I mean, there've been a lot of products there, but the interoperability side of it is picking up en masse. So it's really happening, and it's great to kind of see this. And I mean, we've spoken to three products here, and all so different, right? That's what's exciting. Yeah. This is what always gets me. Like even yesterday I was saying this, like we're talking about one specific topic, but everyone's doing something different and trying to bring both the blockchains together. So I love it. Like I'm excited for all the other guests we still have.
Yeah, man, we have a couple more. One thing I'll say before we bring up Fluid is, some people might be looking from the outside and say, hey, Polymarket has this market cornered, but you have to realize where we are in this with crypto in general. We're such in the baby infancy stage that you got to look at how many betting sites are there, and the top 10, 20, they're making millions and millions and millions. So if the financial system is truly switching like we all believe, dude, there's going to be enough to go around for actual solid founders and builders. But yeah, guys,
I always see it like this, right? I'm like, well, if you're building out a product that is better than the first mover, and you're expecting kind of Web 2 iterations of that business to come over to Web 3, there's a massive acquisition play there, right? That's how I always kind of think of these things. If that's something that you're looking at, which I would almost always suggest in that situation. So I'm sure they're cooking, right? The product is awesome. So I don't doubt that one bit.
Yeah, man. And the audience seems really interested. We got 548 people through all the platforms, from Twitch to Rumble to Abstract to your X account to our X account. Absolutely amazing, the turnout today. So I really want to thank you guys.
Yep. All right, let's bring up Raul from Fluid Tokens. You guys know this guy, very familiar with him. He's been building in the Bitcoin ecosystem for a very long time. Raul, could you kind of introduce yourself to the viewers that might not know you? There might be like 5 of them, but at least you can intro yourself to them.
Good morning, everyone, or good evening, good afternoon, depends on where we are. My name is Raul. I'm co-founder of Fluid Tokens, a DeFi ecosystem building on Cardano and on Bitcoin. We launched lending and borrowing on Cardano, and 1 year ago, we launched on Bitcoin, lending and borrowing with ordinals. And right now, the most used product of us is staking, not custodial staking on Bitcoin Layer 1 with ordinals and runes.
Love that intro there. Like I said, most everybody in the Bitcoin ecosystem knows you by now, but for the people that don't, could you talk about some of the challenges of building on Bitcoin, and then some of the ways that you've been able to be successful as a team to still be here and have a successful platform over here in Bitcoin?
Yeah, absolutely. So The very first thing when we started to work on the Bitcoin ecosystem was, well, for sure we got advantage of the similarities, so the infrastructure and the architecture of the blockchain. But the most difficult thing for us was that finding libraries or examples of building transactions like as a regular dApp was very hard. And this is why, because there are not that many dApps or examples right now on Bitcoin. So and on Solidity you have like thousands of dApps, and more are growing every day. On Bitcoin, I think that we are under 100, maybe. I maybe even under 50. I'm not sure. So it's still something that needs to spread out, like in terms of education, in terms of tooling for developers. And so we had to kind of build our own libraries and stuff. And yeah, at the end of the day, it was not that bad because now we are really capable of being flexible, and we are not relying on a third party library that, sometimes it can go offline, or maybe it's deprecated for some reason. And well, at the end of the day, being now in the Bitcoin ecosystem is a very good opportunity because you are early, and you can be prepared to what is coming.
Exactly, exactly. And you guys, took advantage of that, right? Um, uh, would you kind of elaborate a little bit on like where you saw the opportunity, right? So you guys started on Cardano. Something really, pulled you guys over here. I mean, was it the trillions of dollars that could be unlocked, or was it, something else?
Well, that's what was for sure a good incentive to move on. Like,
It has to be that, yeah.
and but no, what really moves, and what we really push us to move here was the fact that at the end of the day, when we saw the ecosystem, we saw an ecosystem where there were very few dApps. So building a new dApp on an ecosystem so small gives you a huge advantage, because on Solidity, if you launch the competition, you have to compete with thousands of dApps, while on Bitcoin, you have the first mover advantage, right? So this was the first thing. The second thing was that we saw how hard it was to build a proper dApp on Bitcoin. And we said, okay, maybe we have the right skills to build a proper dApp on Bitcoin. And that's what we actually did. We started to think about how can we avoid using multi-signature approach, custodial things. And at the end of the day, this is the main focus of Fluid. Fluid is a DeFi app that keeps all the tokens always under the user control, and we have never the control of them. So even with the last release of the airdrop tool, why we did that? We did that because uh, for users that are creating staking vaults in our platform, before they had to pass to us, so they had to send us the tokens and we airdrop them, right? But now they can do it on their own. Like, they can airdrop to the users that they stake it without passing from us, and this means that we never touch the tokens of the project.
Yeah. Love it. I mean, that really opens up a lot too. Let's just say like feature staking, let's just say we would do the OR pass, right? And I don't need to reach out to you. I can just go in on chain and get the address that are staking and then do the airdrop myself, right? So that
Exactly.
really, it really, like, I don't depend on you. Yet yes, you guys are helping me make sure that they're locked properly and they're non-custodian. They're actually locked using Bitcoin's block lock technology, which is one of the few features that Bitcoin offers DeFi. But now I'm able to airdrop, let's just say, a token or really anything to the people that believe in us enough to lock it long term.
No, exactly. I think that so Bitcoin offer three primitives. There are only three available right now with the OP codes available. One is the signature. This is the one that we always use when we want to send some tokens, some Bitcoin to someone. That's the one that we use. Second one is the time lock. And this is what we leverage for staking. We are able to lock a certain amount of Bitcoin, runes, or ordinals until a certain day. You can even actually specify the block if you don't want to specify the date. And the last and third primitive available on Bitcoin is the password lock. You could eventually make a password lock. There are some applications, really cool ones, that leverage this, meaning that you can create an address that does not require really a signature, but require revealing a password. So this allows you, for instance, if maybe you want to have some sort of more secure stuff, let's say, okay, this is my wallet, but I want to have this amount of Bitcoin, not just protected by my signature, but also by this password in case they hack me. Or in even better, the coolest application I've seen for this is atomic swap cross chains. Like you can literally swap with someone else on any other chain because you are using the same password in the two chains. So you can exchange some Bitcoin for some Ethereum, some Cardano, and so on.
Yeah, look, I mean, Fluid has done so much in terms of innovation. First, to offer retail staking vaults on Bitcoin Layer 1 with the knowledge of the UTXO experience that you guys had from Cardano. I mean, I can't commend you enough, I feel like, because you guys have really brought so much, and we're thankful. You know, we've covered the Bitcoin space for a couple years plus now, and so we're excited. But I guess the last question for you is, you know, what's next with this cross-chain journey? What maybe some features or partnerships or anything that's new that's coming that the audience can get really excited about?
Yes, so I would say that Fluid Tokens is launching, well, today is launching a product that has been awaited for so long. This is Aquarium. And Aquarium is very important, not just for the Cardano ecosystem, also for the Bitcoin ecosystem. Why? On the Cardano ecosystem, it finally unlocks to pay for transaction using Cardano native tokens and have scheduled transactions. But for the Bitcoin ecosystem, this means that as soon as you have the trustless Bitcoin bridge, you can use Cardano dApps paying transaction with your Bitcoin. You don't need any more ADA. So in the background, you are still using ADA, okay? But what the user experience is that he is actually paying using his Bitcoin to interact with a Cardano dApp. And this means that you never leave your wallet, your Bitcoin wallet. You are always using your Bitcoin wallet and able to perform real DeFi on Cardano.
Extremely exciting stuff. We've been
I'm
waiting.
so pumped. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you're good. You're good.
Delay there, Yagobi. Apologies, mate. I was just saying, I'm so pumped. I've seen these guys from the early days. You know, when you guys sort of well, I've known you, Raul, before you even started Fluid Token, so we go way back, mate, and to obviously kind of see where you're at now, right? It's pretty crazy, and to be unlocking something like what you are doing for both blockchains via Aquarium, I think it's going to be a game changer. And I guess for anyone who's watching, keep an eye out, because I think the post might be moments away for everything to go live, right? If I'm not mistaken. So check it out, everyone.
Absolutely. 20 minutes and we go live.
Ooh, some alpha right there, man. You're only going to get that whenever, you know, you're watching OnChain Revolution and Tokyo while it's hosting these type of educational alpha giving streams. But man, it's been a pleasure. You know, we speak to you, I feel like every day. And right now there's like, you know, just this big push for education, which I absolutely love. And so we know that you're going to continually be a part of that. You guys have always shown to want to educate the space. And I mean, guys, they're over at Draper Labs right now, University they were building the airdrop tool at the same time as like trying to learn and do different things. And we're helping them test it out and all this stuff. But, you know, for the audience, you got to hone in. You got to learn. These are early days for projects and bridges and solutions and stuff. And so we're excited, Raul, and you know, we can't wait to have you back on.
Thanks a lot, guys, for the invitation, and keep building.
Hell yeah. Love it. Love it. All right, Raul, we'll talk to you soon. Guys, I mean, we got 704 people. So people want to learn, obviously. We got 2 more guests down below. I know they've been waiting for a while. So if you guys don't mind, let's jump right into them. Is that cool?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to bring up Ivan. I've seen him down there quite a bit. I think he's representing BitcoinOS. So let's bring Ivan up. Ivan.
Yes, that's awesome. Because yesterday we had some issues on the space that we did and Ivan couldn't join. I think we just had Andrew because that space was acting up. Like I couldn't get on for the first 40 minutes. So good to have you up, mate. How's it going, lads? How are we?
Doing fantastic. It's good that finally both of us can be here this time. I'm typically the one who's doing a lot of the communication online, but Ivan's the real tech genius. So he's the one who's able to really dig into the weeds. And so having him to back me up here is quite comforting. Also, ignore my pink face. My camera always acts up like this.
Yeah, I'm really glad to be here.
Now. It's your pink, mate. That's it.
Yeah, Ivan, if you could maybe just do an intro for the audience that's not familiar with BitcoinOS. We got over 700 people listening in. Do an intro on BitcoinOS. What BitcoinOS is bringing in terms of Cardano and Bitcoin's chains. That would be a great start.
Yeah, I'll let Andrew introduce BitcoinOS itself, and I'll continue with what we're doing with our new protocol. How about that?
Sounds good.
Yeah. So BitcoinOS's broader goal is to build trustless connections between Bitcoin and other blockchains. We have a broader thesis that the Bitcoin and crypto worlds would do much better if they were working together rather than if they were competing with each other. And if they are united trustlessly, then they can be more than the sum of their parts. Because on one hand, you have Bitcoin, which is the $2 trillion capital base. It's the money that everybody cares about. And then in crypto is where all of the decentralized financial applications that let you actually do things with that money are being built. But the two are disconnected. And every solution beforehand to try to bring these things together was centralized. If you wanted to be able to take your BTC from the Bitcoin blockchain and move it to another blockchain, such as Cardano, in order to do fancier things with, like Interact and DeFi, you had to rely on some kind of trusted custodian or a multi-sig or just a handful of people to keep your Bitcoin safe for you. And that's not safe at all, because as we've already seen, like just a couple of months ago, like 3 months ago, Bybit's multi-signature Ethereum wallet was hacked for $1.5 billion. And this is the year 2025, right? Like people think that these problems are going away, and they're not going away. That was the biggest hack that's happened yet. And the North Koreans are only getting smarter and smarter, and they're taking all of our money. So we need a solution fast. So what BitcoinOS offers is a revolutionary new way to absolutely minimize the trust assumptions involved with bringing Bitcoin to other blockchains using zero knowledge cryptography to the point where it's like nearly trustless. And so you can go from a system where you have to put your Bitcoin into some kind of vault or bridge that's it's controlled by a majority rule, or like a democratic vote where like 3 of 5 people controlling the wallet control the keys, or 11 of like 20 people controlling the wallet control the keys. And you can make it a one of n system, or an honest singleton assumption. So you can have any number of people who are monitoring this vault. And as long as you have one honest participant who's able to verify that any transactions going in and out of the vault are legitimate, and the system maintains its integrity. And so this is really a virtually trustless system. And it's to the point where we can actually expect that large Bitcoin whales or institutions might finally feel comfortable bringing their Bitcoin to other chains to interact in DeFi with cryptographic integrity. It's something where if you use a wrapped version of BTC through this bridge, then you can actually call it DeFi rather than say DeFi on chicken legs. And so our goal is to be able to bring BTC over to these other blockchains in that trustless manner and actually awaken DeFi on the other chains.
Yeah, so that's the part of BitcoinOS that was kind of the initial vision, and then like what I'm building is the protocol layer, I would say. So initially, what we thought we'd be building is just a new token standard for Bitcoin, kind of like ordinals and runes, but programmable. So we started working on it, and then we quickly realized, which we didn't before, that a new emergent property that it has is being able to jump to other blockchains. That got us really excited, and that's what we really demonstrated last week. So it's a new token protocol that is UTXO native. It was inspired by Cardano's extended UTXO. It was absolutely inspired by ordinals and runes. And hopefully it's simple enough. It builds on the foundations of UTXO. So it brings programmability that is done not by an exotic programming language that developers, like traditional web and app developers, don't understand. It builds on a programmability using a general purpose programming language. Currently, it's just Rust, which is, it has its learning curve. But we are aiming at bringing developers from traditional web development by using WebAssembly or WASM as the compile target for the apps. So and any tokens that you can create with this protocol are built as apps. So that's basically what we're doing. And you've seen the demo last week. We've been able to demonstrate cross-chain transfers of such tokens from Bitcoin to Cardano and back. And the wrapped Bitcoin that Andrew just mentioned, we're able to wrap Bitcoin directly on Bitcoin network without leaving your wallet, basically. So yeah, that's in a nutshell what we're doing. We're super excited to work with Cardano. I personally come from Cardano background. And there's a lot that you guys can look for.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I have a few questions, if you don't mind. So I'm just trying to just get this down from a basic user level, right? So I have Bitcoin on Bitcoin L1. You guys are like a programming layer on top of Bitcoin and also on top of Cardano. So you got to kind of spread across. So I'm just kind of jumping my Bitcoin from Bitcoin onto this programmable layer.
Yeah, that's roughly accurate. So what this programmable layer is, it's really a meta protocol. It's like a Bitcoin meta protocol, like ordinals or runes, except instead of only existing on Bitcoin, we realized that it's so simple that it can actually exist across many other UTXO chains. The first of which we built for was Cardano. And we can actually empower transactions to move like on the meta protocol layer, kind of above each chain, but still like relying on each chain's consensus. We can empower transactions that move from, say, a Bitcoin wallet over to a Cardano wallet, and for tokens that are on that layer. And this process we call beaming rather than bridging, because this process actually does not involve any bridge or trusted intermediary in the traditional sense that you'd think about it. And so that's why when we demoed this technology, we demoed it on May the 4th of this month. We demoed the first bridgeless, quote unquote, cross-chain transfer between the Bitcoin and Cardano mainnet networks. So that's it's something that's people are still struggling to wrap their heads around as we come to communicate that. People are still, their heads are still in the bridging paradigm. But using the genius of like building meta protocols and that as a way to augment Bitcoin, we've realized it's also a way to change the cross-chain game, because you can have these meta protocols that live above the Bitcoin and Cardano network and can operate seamlessly between them.
Gotcha. So when I'm on this programmable layer and people are building dApps for this programmable layer, are these transactions get rolled up and then broadcasted on the chains that they're kind of above?
So I would say that this you don't roll up to this
Sorry.
layer because actually, like if we talk about rollups, they're separate blockchains. So what we are
Okay.
building works directly on Bitcoin. So
the transaction is just happening as the DeFi or whatever is happening. It's just kind of happening on Bitcoin.
I mean, yes. So you cannot lock your assets in a smart contract like in traditional DeFi because, Bitcoin has this strong ownership. So everything that happens inside user wallets. Or like Raul just mentioned, you can create an address with like a password. But it happens. It indeed happens within transactions. So what our protocol does, it augments Bitcoin transactions with additional metadata. This metadata lives inside these transactions, very much like ordinals inscriptions data lives on chain, fully on chain. So, and to see that the transaction is manipulating these tokens legitimately, you only need to look at the transaction that outputs these tokens and spends tokens from previous transactions. So now, if you want to beam tokens to, say, Cardano, what you're doing is you're just adding a property to your output that, hey, this output with such tokens, XBTC or BOSS included or whatever, like people want to mint. So, and there's a huge field for this creativity. So you add a field beam to, and you put the hash of UTXO on the other chain where you're beaming them. And what happens is that these tokens are not here anymore, not in Bitcoin. They are effectively transported to that other UTXO that was created as a placeholder on the other chain. So then on the other chain, people will be able to spend these tokens. So to do that, if we want to dive into technical details, they'll need to provide
I feel like we've been technical for a while here, so we could continue that. Maybe wrap that technical part up. But yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, I'll try to be brief. They would need to provide zero knowledge proofs of like any previous transactions on the Cardano blockchain that precede that transaction that they're building, and the zero knowledge proof of the beaming transaction from Bitcoin, plus the proof of inclusion of that transaction in block, plus proof of inclusion of that block into the main chain. So some proof of work happening on top of that block. So that you can bring as evidence. And you don't really need to publish that on chain. You just need to provide it as private inputs to the generation of the zero knowledge proof. What it means is that that zero knowledge proof generation happens. It's done by the CLI tool that we've developed or the API if it's functioning from within the wallet. So perhaps Tokeo wallet, if it supports this paradigm, we'll use this library. And finally, what is happening, that zero knowledge proof is published within that Cardano transaction, and we can see that, hey, yeah, we have just spent the beamed tokens from Bitcoin. So that's on the meta protocol kind of side of things. What we have in store is actually we have figured out a way to work with this not just as a meta protocol like on Bitcoin. In Cardano specifically, we can make these tokens act as native Cardano assets. Users will not really even have to care that that we have this meta protocol on Cardano. They can just use these, and like any XBTC will be readily available for DeFi.
Wow. Well, that's a lot, and you know, I definitely love to play around with it for sure. You know, and also I'm glad that you guys are still utilizing the BitSnark and you know the verifiers and stuff like that, because that was a big part of your initial kind of push there. But I'm gonna wrap it up here. I guess, like, when can people get, you know, expect to play with this? Because I'm ready right now, but obviously there's a lot of work and stuff that goes into it. Maybe you can give some detail on that.
I would say in a few months.
Few months, okay. So probably in Q4 is that target quarter.
I'd say it's safe to say Q4. Yeah.
Okay.
This technology sounds absolutely insane, like absolutely, like mind blowing. But you guys have such a tough job of explaining this. I mean, I'm somebody who's been in crypto now for like going on 5-6 years, and I'm having trouble kind of understanding because I'm not like a programmer. But for you guys to bring this to normal people, they're just
it's another level. I'm really excited. Yeah.
It's 100%. Something that we're still learning about the more we dig into it, just what we can do. Yeah. Ivan and I have calls every day saying, wait, could we do this with this standard? And like, could we actually build this application? Like, we're still like cranking the gears, figuring this out. So yeah, communicating it to the public is like mission impossible. We're trying.
No, for sure. Definitely a hard job. And I think we can all be really grateful for the kind of expansion of meta protocols and people being open-minded to jump into that for Bitcoin, because that really has opened opportunities. But I want to thank both of you guys. You know, Andrew, you definitely picked the right technical guy to, you know, have for backup here. And, you know, we're looking forward to some more features and updates in the future from BitcoinOS.
Thanks a lot for having us, guys. Peace out.
All right.
Yeah.
See you later.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man. I love this. I mean, project's awesome, right? It's bringing Cardano and Bitcoin together. That's exactly what this entire show is about today. And on top of that, like, just trying to understand how they're doing. I do like the term beaming. I mean, we heard a lot of terms, right? And beaming actually sounds pretty cool when you're telling a norm, hey, just beam it over to Cardano and do some DeFi there. But I don't know. We'll see what happens, right? Like, we're definitely going to find out potentially this year.
Yeah, exactly. And I had a lot of technical questions, but they were probably not even correct because I'm a developer, but I'm not a developer. But it does make me, you know, like itch my head, because it was interesting for sure. But we're going to wrap up this Blitz with one last speaker, and it's a fun one. We got the JellyCubes, Jason Borck. Probably butchered that too.
Let's go.
But let's bring Jason up to the stage. Jason, welcome to OnChain Revolution and the Bitcoin Blitz, brought to you guys by Tokeo Wallet.
Yo, what's up, guys? Can y'all hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
How's it going, brother?
Dude, it's funny as you were talking about, you know, trying to wrap your head around the development. I've been trying to wrap my head around BitcoinOS for a while now, so it's nice getting to know a little bit more info from them. And Shaz, thanks for the invite. Love what you guys are doing at Tokyo with this Blitz today. I tuned in a little bit to Raul from Fluid. I recently saw him in person just a couple weeks ago, and what they've done at Fluid is awesome. So, yeah, appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that we're ending it on kind of like the NFT kind of side of things with JellyCubes. If you could intro what JellyCubes is and why you guys decided, hey, look, you know, we're all about the Bitcoin and Cardano ecosystem as well.
Yeah, man. So I started JellyCubes about 3 years ago. Our 3-year anniversary is next month, which is cool. And at the beginning, it was really just about building a community that was looking for alpha or trades and exploring different ecosystems. But the home base was on Cardano. And similar to you guys, I make content. Like, I have my own YouTube channel, and I was getting into DeFi and mining and Ethereum and Phantom, pretty much every single chain.
I was wondering where I knew you from. I've been following you from Phantom. I was staring at your face like I know this guy, but I used to watch your videos when you just cover Phantom because I used to be big over there. I'm playing around.
Wow, that's crazy. Because it's been a minute. But yeah, dude, I was kind of all over the place. Yeah, probably 2021. Yeah. Dude, insane. Yeah, it's been a while since I've covered Phantom, but yeah, dude, we started JellyCubes and really built out that alpha community. And it was funny with Ordinals. We had one of our members, Alpha Q. He's on top of everything. he slid into my DM when ordinal inscriptions were at like 20K, 30K. And he's like, dude, you've got to pay attention to this. Like, this is going to be big. It's, you know, assets that are actually dropping on the layer 1 of Bitcoin. And my stupid self didn't look into it at the time as much as I should have. I was like, oh, this is, you know, kind of complicated ecosystem. It didn't have as much, you know, sort of foundation and infrastructure that it does now at that time. It was kind of like a pain in the ass to do stuff. But ever since then, I stayed paying attention to the ecosystem and have seen it evolve. And I actually have a little JellyCube inscription I did inscribe under 1 million inscriptions, made some YouTube videos on it pretty early on. And I always felt, regardless of like these dead periods and ordinals and what was going on in the ecosystem, where there'd be a bunch of hype and then no one would pay attention to it. People said it was dead. And, you know, now we just went through that again where ordinals have been popping off. Throughout this whole time, I've just been paying attention to it. And it's cool. I see ChaChing is here. I actually talked to Ferks on a podcast not too long ago. And yeah, just have been keeping up with the ecosystem.
One of us.
Yeah. And it's crazy too, because I never expected Cardano to get as heavy into Bitcoin as far as a narrative as it has. Especially in the last 6 months, there's been a huge push from Charles. I know he's going to this BTC Las Vegas event. He's going to be talking about some stuff IOG is working on. And yeah, I feel like it's a really great marriage between the two blockchains. And in the future, we plan on launching a small little ordinals collection as well. So yeah, that's kind of the journey.
Love it. I love hearing about, like, you know, your experience in early ordinals days, you know, because we were coming in around that time actually as well. And that's what brought us back to Bitcoin too, right? Like, both of us started on Bitcoin. Everybody in here started on Bitcoin, and then they ventured out, and then now we're all back, right? So, you know, with an NFT collection and you having that experience of inscribing a collection or just pieces, like, do you feel like it was a lot harder to understand Bitcoin or to be able to build on Bitcoin? You can even talk about from the tech side or even like the community building side.
Yeah, I mean, I think from my point of view, I've had a lot of experience going on a lot of chains. So for me, getting into Bitcoin wasn't as complicated. Maybe in the very beginning when there wasn't really, like, when everyone was trying to figure out what to do and stuff. And I remember, like, even the JellyCube inscription I way overpaid for because I didn't realize like the KB like was such a big deal. So I didn't even try to like reduce the file size. But yeah, I don't think it's been too bad. And I think a lot of infrastructure has been built up over time where it's a lot easier to find people that can help you as well. I think when it comes to the ordinals and like making a collection, there's a lot of cool little techie things that you can do on Bitcoin if you want to get more into it, especially getting into different rare sats. And, you know, there's constantly new things and meta protocols and this and that, you know, hopping on Bitcoin. But I feel like for the most part, it's been pretty smooth. And like you said, Bitcoin, I think, attracts a lot of other chains because in a sense, it is that mother chain that glues all these other ecosystems together. You might have people on Cardano that can't stand Solana, and then you have people on Solana that might not stand Ethereum. But I feel like Bitcoin is one of those ecosystems where everyone's like, okay, I vibe with Bitcoin. And I think that's what not only drew me to the Bitcoin ecosystem, but what draws so many other people to that ecosystem too.
Yeah. And it used to not be like that, actually, because, you know, the laser eyes were just like constantly making people feel bad about themselves for being on a shitcoin chain and blah, blah, blah. But what ordinals really did was say, hey, look, you guys are the old guard and we all just need to kind of work together. And I feel like maybe that has been inviting to some of these other, you know, ecosystem communities. Do you feel like that makes sense?
Yeah, 100%. And I think it just, like, building an NFT / ordinals collection has its pros and cons compared to other chains. But I really feel that Bitcoin ordinal specifically stands out in a lot of different ways. And you hear the common things brought up, like, oh, you know, it's permanently on chain and it's not with IPF hosting and stuff like that. But I think one of the biggest things that people cannot sleep on ordinals is about is how the assets itself are tied to Bitcoin as an asset rather than these other blockchains that are relying on the macro performance of a blockchain that might not be here in 5 years. Yes, for example, like ETH has been pumping a lot in the last week or two. But for so long, ETH was going down a lot, which had a negative impact on the Ethereum NFTs. And I think it's one of those situations where we're in such a new and emerging space that a lot of the things that were 4 years ago that we thought would never go away aren't here anymore. Bitcoin is one of the only things, in my opinion, that I have really strong confidence are going to be here in the long term. And I think for that reason, there's going to be a lot more emphasis and respect and people paying attention to the Bitcoin ecosystem over time as it develops. And as a final note here, yeah, you kind of had that issue between Bitcoin maxis being like, no, I want this to be a store of value and I don't want all these transactions clogging up the chain. But that can be, but I feel like a lot of these maxis have kind of changed their mind over time, especially as there becomes an increasing need for there to be more fees actually on the L1 of Bitcoin, as like mining emissions are going to be, you know, at 99% by 2031 or whatever the year is, right?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
I have a question. So it's something I've been thinking about for a while. I think Bitcoin is going to be like a cloud storage system, right? Instead of pointing to, you know, IPFS, right? I think you're going to be pointing to an image on the Bitcoin blockchain. Is that something that potentially you thought about maybe doing a Cardano NFT, but actually pointing it to a Bitcoin block that has that image in?
That could be interesting. We didn't go that route. Like we have it's not really public knowledge yet, but we're doing like a 100 super limited collection on ordinals that we actually already minted and it's fully on chain. For me as a founder, I see Bitcoin as an ecosystem of where I always wanted to build something and do something and have an impact on and be able to innovate on and be integrated into the community more than just making content on it, which is what I've been doing for years now. So for me, I really valued having something directly on the Bitcoin chain that, you know, wasn't necessarily pointing to anything, but it itself was there. And I do think though, that when you start looking at larger collection sizes, especially if the mempool continues to get way busier, we could see inscribing a 5,000 ordinal collection costing 200 grand, 300 grand in the future. And I think at a certain point, that's where, you know, pointing or redirections or recursive trades or whatever you want to call it may come into play more. And that's actually why I wanted to inscribe things like months and months ago, because I do think we're going to get to the point where the mempool isn't going to be sitting at 1 or 2 sats, but might be sitting at 30 sats. And now all of a sudden, you know, you want to inscribe something as an ordinal and it's just going to cost you a crazy amount of money.
Yo, that statement just made me want to go ordinal shopping just now, what you said about the cost of the seriously though, like if it costs 200 grand for a collection, imagine the, you know, sub 100K, sub 200K, shoot, sub 1 million at that point. But man, what a great...
It's also going to bring the quality up too, right? Yeah. Because now all of a sudden, you're not, in order for a collection to, it limits the amount of new sort of emissions and saturation happening in the space. And it actually enforces a certain standard of quality, because otherwise, why are you going to be dropping 100 grand just minting it? It almost reminds me of the early Ethereum days where you were dropping thousands of dollars to mint an ETH collection. I think it's going to be that, but like even more so. So these collections that we have now, like the collections we have now are honestly, they're going to have a lot of provenance, in my opinion, in the future.
100%.
I had a question for you, Jason. You've obviously, you know, been doing JellyCubes for a while. There's multiple things that, you know, you do that JellyCubes does as an overarching umbrella organization, right? One of the core things has sort of been a quote unquote kind of alpha group in essence. How do you think the expansion out to Bitcoin with the 100 or so exclusive ordinals that you're going to do is going to impact that. Is that even a part of it, or is the purpose of that something more or something different?
So we're going a completely different route with it that I haven't really seen done really, actually. And I don't want to like get into too many details because it's really early on still. Like we haven't even really announced these. But it's not really going to be alpha focused, but more so networking focused. I think the closest comparison to what we're trying to do is like, let's say Boogles on Solana, or maybe like the Dead King Society on Solana, where, as I had said earlier, I feel like Bitcoin is the glue to every single ecosystem. And especially what our main focus will be on is specifically to founders and creators and builders, but really more so geared to founders, and leveraging ordinals as a way to glue a bunch of founders from a lot of different ecosystems under one asset within Bitcoin. Yeah, I'll kind of stop there. But the plan has changed a lot over time, but it is really more so focused on, it's more so going to be focused on almost pretty much handpicking founders, creators, builders that are trying to do something innovative, that are trying to level up their project in some sort of way.
Absolutely love it, man. You know, you got to appreciate the curators of communities and ordinals and NFT founders that have the right intentions, are the best at that. So, you know, we're excited to see, you know, what JellyCubes brings to the Bitcoin ecosystem. And we'd love to have you on for like an episode, kind of get back into the artists again. We used to do that when we first started, man, because look, it was just the artists and ordinals in the beginning, right? And so, really love this conversation, and look forward to having you possibly on in the future again.
Oh, I would love to, guys. I appreciate you having me on as well.
Awesome. We'll talk to you soon, Jason.
See you guys. Thank you.
See you,
Take it
Jason.
easy.
Yeah, man, that was fun to wrap it up with a little NFT project. But, yeah, go ahead, LeBoom.
When Jason mentioned about the mempool being hot, it took me back to the ordinal days when mempool would just shoot up, and then you had all of these projects paying thousands of dollars just to get inscribed, to get those inscription. This is back when inscription numbers were a thing.
Yeah.
Probably like there was a race to like a sub 100K, sub 1 million. I mean, those were some like crazy days, right? And yeah, we've come a long way from that.
Yeah, and inscription numbers are still a thing. They're just not talked about right now, but in the future, I guarantee in the future there'll be, the low inscriptions will be high in value, just like some of these rare sats and stuff. It's the most collector approach to NFTs that we've seen yet, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. In fact, us at ChaChing as well, we have inscribed a collection. We have not launched it yet, and it is like really low inscription numbers, like really like I think sub 300K or something like that.
Wow.
But yeah, we're planning to do something really cool with that. But yeah, stay tuned, guys.
Yeah.
Can we get a
Yeah. Really quick, dude, we went over a lot, and I'm sorry. We want to respect y'all's time, but like really quick, if you could give like feedback on today's show. Obviously, a lot of people watching and all that. Shaz, we'll kick it off with you.
Yeah, look, I mean, what hasn't been covered, right? We've had NFTs just now to wrap it up. We had bridging. We had predictions markets. We had lending and borrowing, a whole L2 being built on UTXO, hardcore infra that's kind of dominating 3 UTXO blockchains at the moment. Like, it's been full scale, right? Yeah. It's been a phenomenal space. And, you know, we're excited at one of the things I'm very excited about is a lot of the projects that came here today have been closely linked or a part of the Draper U program that's been going on at the moment for Cardano projects. In about 2 hours and 20 minutes, we're actually going to be talking to Draper U on our space. So they're going to be there along with some other VCs and accelerators. So definitely tune on in. It's almost like a nice continuation of this one. So we have put a little bit of thought into this, guys, for all of you that are watching and listening in. You know, it really is a nice follow through. But even for us at Tokeo, right? A big part of what we do as a product and a business is showcase the best from Tokeo, right? So whether that's an integration with Sats Terminal, whether that's a future integration with ChaChing, whether that's an integration with a product over on the Cardano side, we're obviously also expanding to another chain that some may have heard of, some may have not, but keep an eye out for that one. Doing a lot of things over there. I know Guido said it in the past, so you can tune back into the OnChain Rev podcast, and maybe you'll hear a little bit from him, but I'll let you find the alpha rather than me dropping it here.
Love that. When launch?
As a part of this, Bitcoin Blitz, you know, we've been showcasing products and it's been products and projects and businesses from across the board, and that's what we've seen today. That's what we do as a business. So I absolutely love this when we sit down and conceptualize these things, you know, like how do we come up with something? You know, we linked up with you guys and we're still like halfway now, but we said, let's do this mega crazy thing. Let's all of us work on it together, bring a whole bunch of projects in. So for me, it's been phenomenal. I'm very, very excited for kind of the Bitcoin Cardano integration interoperability play. There's a lot of conversation around it, a lot of hype, you know, and we're seeing products like Sundial that's kind of kicked off through the grant mechanism on Cardano called Catalyst. You know, they've been given like 2 million ADA through that to kind of kick things off and really build. So it's super exciting. So we're seeing a lot of that coming in organically from the support of the Cardano community and the ecosystem there. And then on the flip side, to see projects like ChaChing, you know, showing an interest in Cardano, a lot of the projects that are building on Bitcoin, looking at some of the things that are going on here, I'm super psyched. And even from a Tokyo point of view, we're very, very, very pumped.
Yeah. Exciting stuff, man. Exciting stuff. And I'm going to let LeBoom kind of close this out. But before that, remember, guys, Tokyo is giving away 13,000 Doggo to the Moon tokens. We have some submissions that we're seeing them there. All you got to do is really simple. Go to either the Apple App Store or Google Play, depending on if you have an iPhone or an Android. Download the Tokyo app and then take a screenshot of it and reply to this space on X in the comment section with that screenshot, and you'll be in the raffle for the winning of 13,000 Doggo to the Moon tokens. But I'm going to pass it over to you, LeBoom. Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
Shaz.
Just very quickly, I wanted to say, come by the space later today, VC Vision, investing in Bitcoin. So we've got Draper U on there. We've got VVV, Supermassive, and the Bitcoin Fi Accelerator guys. So it's a nice mix and bunch of people that are looking at Bitcoin, looking at investing from a VC level into Bitcoin products. So tune in for that one later today. But LeBoom, over to you, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I think, see, it's clear that the future of Bitcoin and DeFi in general is being built right now in real time by all these brilliant minds across like protocols, the chains, even communities, like from lending on Bitcoin to like cross-chain infrastructure, NFTs with real utility, even trustless coordination, right? Like with all of these things, we're not just talking about ideas anymore. We've got all these phenomenal builders who are shipping them, right? And yeah, I mean, even at ChaChing, we're incredibly excited to play a very small part in that movement where we help turn idle Bitcoin into like a productive or a smart asset. And yeah, a huge thanks to all the builders who joined us today. Kudos to the Ordinal Revolution guys. Even Shaz, Zushan is how I call him, right? And I think to everyone listening, just keep asking the hard questions to all of us. Keep building boldly, because I mean, once you start asking those questions to builders like us, that helps kind of us to make better systems, right? There, we cannot just be in our own echo chambers. And yeah, and keep betting on open systems. Yeah, till then, like just stay decentralized, StackSats Bitcoin is doing great. I think the last time that I checked. So keep an eye on the markets as well.
Yep.
I have a hard question though, if you don't mind. We
Yeah.
do know ChaChing is building something awesome. When testnet? When can I start messing around ChaChinging?
Oh, we're already
It's
live on
open.
this. Yeah,
It's
you can-
open. When did you guys open?
It's been I think we've been on testnet since like Feb. We've seen some great traction on
When we had you guys on the show, you guys were showcasing it, but I didn't know we could access it.
So they would do different updates, like based
yeah.
on feedback. And I think when we were walking through it, they were going through an update. But yeah, we need to definitely dive into it because I'm excited about that product for sure. Like
need
the
to start playing
whole
on that, dude. I had
social
no idea.
scores and all that stuff. But we appreciate you both. We're gonna let you go because we know we got to see you guys soon again in a couple hours. And for the builders, pay attention to that space, man. VCs, all the tough questions. You're gonna learn what they look for in potential projects in the future they invest in. But thank you, Shaz, and thank you, LeBoom. We will see you guys in a couple hours.
Yep. See you on the other side, lads. Catch ya.
Take it easy.
See you guys. Wow. Dude, that was absolutely insane. 1 hour and 48 minutes. We got 963 people in here, guys, and we're just getting started here at OnChain Revolution. We have a whole show for you guys, man. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break. We're going to just play our intro song. We're going to quick refresh and kind of bring it back. We're going to get over some news. And at 12:30, we have the great guys from Sats Terminal. So, guys, we have another hour and a half to go, guys. Really excited for it, but we'll see you guys in about 2 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Broke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the size, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gon' end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution.
All right, guys, welcome back again. Thank you for that quick 2-minute pause. And we just realized we have one more builder down there from ADA Handle. We'll actually jump into them right now, but let me bring in my partner here, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, man? I did not see him down there.
Yeah, I think he's just jumped in about 10 minutes in. So we can definitely do a quick kind of intro to Handle and what they got.
What's up, Jonah? Thank you so much for being here, man.
Hey, good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry for jumping in late. I figured I'd get in here, make sure I didn't miss anything. So here now.
No worries. Hey, look, better late than never is the thing, right? So, if you wouldn't mind kind of introing yourself to the audience, we got about 980 people in here listening in. You know, what is Handle, why Bitcoin and Cardano, and what you guys got coming?
Awesome, sure. So Handle is an NFT naming convention built on Cardano. We started on Cardano. We only recently decided to make our move for Bitcoin, not necessarily as this sort of divine vision that came to us. It was simply a matter of keeping a pulse on the market. What was Cardano doing? What was Bitcoin doing? What were some of the synergies on both sides? What did both sides need? And then just jumping on the momentum of this sort of Cardano Bitcoin shift, and sort of learning the ropes of how Bitcoin and Cardano on the technical side and the UI side, which is mainly where we are, can make the most impact. And we've done some cool things already with Tokeo Wallet, with BitcoinOS. We're doing some cool things with Lace. But yeah, excited to talk about all those things.
Yeah. So it's kind of a naming convention protocol. So do you guys mainly deal with like .ada? Also, are you guys going to be trying to come into like possibly like the BTC, SATS? What's your approach and mindset with that?
So Handle has always been a cash tag first convention. No domain style. We tried our best to walk ourselves away from domain style names. It's sort of our mission. It's sort of our goal. It's sort of our belief that domain names aren't necessarily the overall vision for identity. Identity does not have to be domains. They're not mutually exclusive, or they're not mutually inclusive. It's a buy once, own forever style naming convention. So there is no registry. There's no monthly fees. As for how we make our move towards Bitcoin, what's the competition look like? What's the market look like? From what we've seen, whether it be .sats, whether it be .btc, or any other naming convention, there seems to lack two main things. The first thing is a proper UI. And that just means for, say, like .sats that you mentioned. .sats, you have to interact on chain. There's no like, let's go, like for us, let's go to handle.me and on their UI, easily mint a name for yourself or for somebody else or for your business. You have to know how to work on chain. And so for like a wallet and for mass users who want to come on and give themselves a username, there isn't a UI that exists like that. And .sats, I think, is the largest. There's like 400 something thousand names on Bitcoin. And then the second is it doesn't seem that there's a double minting check and balance. So there are names in the .sats protocol that are exactly the same. And when it comes to the naming convention and you try to do resolution on a wallet, it becomes extremely hard, to make sure that you're sending to the correct address. So those two big things are sort of like where we want to come in and prove that we can make a big UI difference for users. And yeah, those are sort of the two pain points that we're looking at, that hopefully we can make a positive impact in the Bitcoin space.
Yeah, 100%. So what would be the main goal for Handle? Like what is like the main reason as for a user to kind of use you guys?
Yeah, good question. So it's sort of the same answer that we have for Ethereum. So on the Ethereum side, you have two highly successful competitors, which obviously shows that there's room for competition when it comes to a naming convention. So on Ethereum, you have ENS, and then you have Unstoppable Domains. Both are registry based. Handle has always been buy one, own forever. And so when it comes to Bitcoin as well, it's still the same. It's still the same. Very simple, yet very powerful concepts, which is the user owns all of the agency of their identity, which I think is like both Cardano and Bitcoin. Like that's a very, very central part of their ideologies in terms of being a user of both, as much agency as possible. And so trying to use that and leverage that is sort of the goal for us.
Yeah, look, I think that having an out of the box approach to being able to create your own identity and not just stick to the standard domain is something that is good. It gives more options and it shows evolution of this approach, because I do think look, the space that we're in is going to continually evolve, be more easy and adoptable for the masses, right? So, look, I'm excited to see what Handle has to bring to Bitcoin. before we let you go though, like what would you say is the next exciting thing that you guys are gonna announce or maybe have for the audience to be excited for?
Yeah, I guess the next exciting thing that comes here in the next couple of weeks is we're working with the IOG or the IOHK team and the Lace team to do a cool little demo here at the Bitcoin conference at the Venetian in Vegas in the next couple of weeks. So it'll be sort of our first sort of physical in-event demo where we can show handles on the UI side between a Bitcoin and Cardano transaction. We've done something similar with BitcoinOS with sort of the bridgeless, trustless transfer of assets using a handle. We've done something similar with Tokeo. And now we do something with Lace, and we can do it at the Bitcoin conference. So it'll be super fun.
Yeah, and after Vegas definitely, we can probably get you on the show and potentially showcase it as well afterwards.
I would love to. I think I just got this email yesterday because Conrad had sent it over to me. So in terms of being 100% ready and able to present and show everything that we're doing, I would love to have that opportunity. That'd be cool.
Yeah, man, it sounds awesome. And we're hearing in Vegas that Charles is going to be dropping some alpha for everyone. So we're actually looking forward to seeing a lot of Cardano news is going to be dropped in Vegas. So this is actually another huge moment for you guys.
Yeah, I hope so. We had a meeting with them. Not all specifically we can talk about in public, but they've got some cool things that they're working on. Things that they're keeping sort of in their back pocket. And I'm not sure if it's the Bitcoin conference that they're going to showcase it or it's one that's later in the year. But yeah, definitely some cool things that they're working on that's going to shake up the sort of Bitcoin Cardano ecosystem that's developing.
Absolutely. So after the conference, we'll link back up and try to get together maybe a recorded episode, and we'll push that out and kind of do a proper intro to the Bitcoin ecosystem for Handle.
I would love to. And unfortunately too, I was trying to get my mic set up before, and that didn't work either. So everything hopefully by then will be ready. We'll have the mic set up, a proper introduction, proper inspection of what Handle is doing on Bitcoin, and it would be super cool. But I do appreciate you guys letting me on and talk a little bit about what we're doing. Thank you.
Absolutely. We just give them a little taste at first, right?
Yeah, a little taste test.
Yep. All right. Well, we will get connected with you after the conference, and we will talk to you then.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Take it easy.
Yeah, man. All right. That's kind of so that's kind of open the show up here. So pretty well. So hold on. Before we get started though, I just got to know if I'm just an idiot or I just don't understand BitcoinOS. Honestly, do you have a proper understanding? Because I'm struggling. I'm really struggling.
I mean, look, from that whole infographic that they showed with the beaming the token from Bitcoin to Cardano, it looks like what they're doing is they're wrapping Bitcoin. So I was going to ask,
saying you're not wrapping.
No, on the Bitcoin side. On the Bitcoin side, he did say that they're wrapping on the Bitcoin side. They're wrapping into the Meta Protocol token standard, Bitcoin, regular Bitcoin. But typically how it works is you will bridge it to an MPC, which Bitcoin is locked in, and then you will wrap on the other side. You mint and wrap on the other side, right? But with this, they're wrapping it on the side that they originally started with. And I think what's happening, I wanted to ask this question, but we have been so deep into we had a lot of guests today, dude. We went over about 40 minutes, but the
I was
thing
expecting 2 hours though. Once I seen this morning and you sent me that private chat of how many guests, I was like, this is going to be 2 hours. There's no way.
I was going to ask him. I was like, so does the Bitcoin actually get time locked into one of the addresses that's in your Bitcoin wallet, and then how you have to claim your stake? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How Fluid does on native Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You have to sign for that once you bridge back or something, then it releases it or something. I don't know. I was going to ask him
about the password though, because that's what I was
maybe. I don't know. I just felt like that was a way longer conversation. It could have been hours. Yeah. So
yeah, no, 100%. But yeah, I definitely want to get a better understanding once they go live. I think once they have, because I feel like there's a lot of moving parts that just keep moving with those guys. And once they finally, I mean, that's what happens when you're innovating, right? Your innovation, and then you notice there's another innovation that you need to innovate for, and that's what it kind of seems like these guys are doing there. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
Look, let's jump into some take a look at how Bitcoin's doing here. So right now, we got Bitcoin sitting at 103,491. As I said earlier, Bitcoin is very headline driven right now. I'm curious of your opinion on this without really getting into charting. We're getting some charting in a little bit. But like, what are you thinking? Are we waiting for another headline? Are we waiting for a potential, a new company coming? Like, what are we doing here? Are we gonna have to wait this entire time here? I know it's a lot of questions, but what is going on?
Yeah, I do think it's to see if this is a fake out, right? Like the PTSD is real, right? We've seen Bitcoin act. You know what? It kind of reminds me of, and I hope this is not the case, but it reminds me of 2024 when we went to 76,000 or whatever. We pulled back, and then I think I want to say like in May and June we hit like 74,000, and then we pulled back. And we would get to we would stay between 60 and that was the time of the year that you would always complain, be like, do something, like if you want to like dump or blah, blah, blah. So the difference is that we're in the bull market year. The M2 is here. There's a lot of, catalysts that are playing their part or starting to at least. And so I think that we just need some follow-up conviction. We definitely need some relief in terms of like tax cuts or some sort of really good tariff deals that have officially gone through, some more confidence, because right now everybody doesn't trust it. They just feel like, okay, the China deal's 3 months only. I thought it was going to be permanent. The UK deal, what else is there? Now things are getting better. There's momentum. We'll see if it's going to, we need probably another 4 to 6 things to really come into play to say, okay, the macro environment's better. Hey, the CPI was great in my opinion, and so maybe the Fed won't really have an excuse as much this next time he speaks. They'll just be like, hey, we thought you said you were worried and the CPI looked good, and so the Fed really could change things if he becomes dovish and says, hey, we're going to cut some rates here, we're going to start acquiring assets more aggressively.
Yeah, so we need another headline. It's kind of what you're saying now.
No, because that's not a headline. But except for the tariffs are a headline.
Yeah.
But these are like permanent like things that need to happen to make it more, the bullish sentiment stay and be sustained.
Yeah. No, 100%. And we do have the M2 money supply from Colin Talks Crypto, and we are definitely following it. So let me see if I can find the newest chart he has here, and it looks like from 23 hours ago. So let me just pop this up real quick. All right, so this is the M2 money supply, something we've been following for a bit of here. So it looks like we're here now. We're waiting for this. This will put us over all-time highs. This will bring momentum back. This will bring everything that we're missing in the sense of momentum. This is the slot here. When are you expecting this to happen? Are you waiting for a headline for this, or you just think that we're just going to follow them to money supply?
I mean, there could be this catch up of alts too. You have to remember, right? If you look at the previous cycle, whenever Bitcoin did dominance did drop, the alts kind of took off, and then it started. The alts didn't really dump as hard as it did previously.
Yeah.
But we've seen alts not be able to sustain it this go around, and so is this the true start of alt season? I think that's going to be where that will be another trigger. I think that will give confidence to the crypto space, right? Retail investors and even institutional investors at a smaller institutional level, right? Is like the VCs I'm talking about. If Ethereum can continue to go up while Bitcoin goes down, then that means dominance goes down, right? And that's what people are waiting on. And I don't think Benjamin Cohen, someone that's really been accurate with dominance, is ready to admit that. But when he comments and posts something like, okay, I think alts will run here, I think we'll all say, okay, this is probably going to be right.
Right? So we're waiting for a Benjamin Cohen tweet. It's kind of what you're saying. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I definitely agree. I still think that we're going to be following this chart here. I'm still. Are you still expecting? I mean, we're talking about June right here. Are you still expecting to be at 130? Let's just say first week of June, like I am.
I won't be shocked if we get there. I won't be shocked if we're around 115, 120, or I would be shocked if we're still where we are in June. What would you say, June 30th?
June 1st.
Oh, June 1st. Yeah, that's about 2 weeks, right?
16
Yeah.
days,
I would be shocked if we're kind of where we are right now. I would think that we would be at least at a new all-time high. But remember, like when Bitcoin gets bullish like this, you have the big influencers that are been around for multiple cycles saying, "Hey, new all-time high in a week," or they're just like extra. They throw fuel on the fire with bullishness and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to trust that. So.
100%. All right, let's kind of get into that Bitcoin fear and greed here. All right, so last week we were at a 67. Yesterday we're at a 70. My hint for you, we're in the low 70s. Where do you think we're at?
72?
Pretty much right there, 73. This number is looking good to me. I'm actually really loving the fact that Bitcoin is sideways, but we're going up, right? So 67 last week, 70 yesterday, 73 today. This is really encouraging. This means that potentially we're about to break out. Do you agree with that?
I think that's really just the sentiment of last night. We did pull back up. Overnight or right before the 8 p.m. Eastern, so 7 p.m. Central, and so I think it was just kind of carried over sentiment. And then right now, it's looking like we're probably going to have just chop with maybe a little bit downside. I actually thought that yesterday, and during the show it reversed. So look, we are kind of past what we usually go over the price action, and it is showing more of a sell down.
Well, yeah. Why don't we just jump into it? Let's take a look at that. So let's get into the Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, these guys are building something really special. They're building a Bitcoin leverage trading platform, and it's going to be on a Bitcoin L2. You're going to be able to go over there, and you're going to be able to trade the top tokens using your Bitcoin. So they're actually going to be on Hemi. Hemi is backed by Binance. It is a Bitcoin layer 2. Right now, if you go over, you can actually start using Hemi now to kind of get prepared. I actually loaded up a while. I got some Ethereum over there, which is kind of like the gas token, which is a little weird. but you guys can use Artura when it drops on both Hemi and Botonix. Botonix is considered a spider chain. It is considered also a Bitcoin L2. Very excited for Artura, and you guys can actually potentially earn the Artura token in the future just by using a little leverage. Maybe even maybe you're just not a leverage trader and you want to just earn the Artura token. You will be able to go there and actually put up pairings as well. So USDT probably and Bitcoin, USDT and Ethereum, and actually earn that way as well. Definitely looking forward to what Artura.finance is bringing us in just probably a month or so.
Yes. And before we get into this Bitcoin price action, guys, on the YouTube side, smash that like, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, all that good stuff so you know when we go live. On the X side, if you could share the space, we'd greatly appreciate that. We just continue to educate. That's all we want to do is educate and onboard to our space, right? Same thing with the abstract side. If you could share that stream. But let's get into some Bitcoin price action. Over here, starting off with the hour chart. Yeah, it's looking like this downtrend started yesterday at 2 p.m. and then kind of it looks like maybe this was the area we got that I'm not sure where exactly that score came into play, but anyways, that downtrend has started yesterday at 2 p.m. and we were at 105 and got all the way down to 102.9. I personally don't think we're going to go below 100K, but who knows, right? Bitcoin can do some crazy volatile things. If you look at the leading indicators here, it does look like it wants to head back to oversold on the stochastic RSI. And then the MACD looked like it wanted to continue sell pressure. I am seeing it starting to weaken here. That would be great if we can maybe have a follow-up here and maybe build some uptrend momentum. The Bollinger Bands look like they might be starting to tighten, which is a good thing because usually there's a big move, and I would think that if we're going to have a move at 103, it would be to the upside. So I don't know. Right now, I'm getting a lot of mixed information, mixed data from these indicators. Stochastics looks like it wants to go down further. MACD looks like it's weakening, and then you can see the Bollinger Bands which shows volatility starting to tighten here. When it tightens, It might not happen right when it tightens. It might actually go sideways for a little bit, but tightening means eventually comes a big move. You saw it here. The tightening started to happen, big move down. And so we'll see what happens there. But I do expect more chop. Of course, that's what we get every day. But I definitely need to see what this reaction is going to be on the hour chart in terms of the next couple hours, if we get out of this, or if it truly does want to bleed down further. If it does, then 102 is on the table. If it doesn't, then maybe we are back up to 104.5, 105. On the 4-hour chart, it looks like this setup. This is actually not a horrible setup because we had that really strong sell pressure on the MACD and then came out of that, but it is dark red again. So if we do get a reversal on that hour chart, then we could kind of come out of this and then the setup would be okay. We are in the middle range of the stochastic RSI. The MACD does still look kind of red. We need this blue line to start to curl up. It's still tight here, meaning on the 4-hour, it's been tight since Sunday, right? Because it's a higher time frame. So meaning that we might eventually see a pretty big move here. So this gives me a little bit of bullish hopefulness maybe for the next day or so that we pop out of this and make a big move. So that's the 4-hour. Looking at the weekly still looks great. Yes, we do have, we're still a red candle on a Wednesday, but this can change. We got about 4 more days left. You can see the MACD showing a pretty decently strong second candle here. I do think once we're up here, we're going to hang out here for a minute. It is the weekly chart. The one thing that I want to see these kind of, I don't know, maybe turn it a little bit, maybe not, maybe because, we are still in this uptrend. So maybe just leave it at how it is and just, have turned this red candle around by Sunday. Even if we do get a red candle, I mean, look at this. You get a red candle every once in a, blue moon with this continued uptrend, right? So I think we're fine. I think we are completely fine. If this were to crash, it would be very like an anomaly, right? Because we've had some like pretty consistent strong green candles here. M2 money supply has given us kind of a path. So I think we look good on the weekly for the Bitcoin chart. The others chart looks actually better than the Bitcoin chart. So this gives me some hope that the alt season could be, right around the corner to start kicking things off. We're still a green candle here above the 50-day EMA, which are these 2 purple lines right here. So let's continue this momentum for alts, right? That's what we want because we want some of these Bitcoin ecosystem assets to really thrive. We got about 6.5 more months before the year's up. And so, getting to that first level for alts is important. And then maybe some, sideways and then another big bullish leg up to finish the year. Hopefully that's what we get. But yeah, that's what Bitcoin and the alts are looking like on the crypto bubbles. This was a lot more green earlier today. Right now we're seeing some more red, so that some of these bigger tokens are probably following Bitcoin a little bit because you saw that sell down happening. But yeah, I mean, look, Bitcoin ran up and right now we might just be going through a chop period, right? Which is fine. We know where we're heading in the next month and a half, or at least I feel very confident in it. We do need some catalysts to help us out, and it seems like this administration is starting to make the right decisions and stuff like that. I do think that recent trip out to the Middle East was definitely a bullish thing, and hopefully we get some of these trade deals closed, and we start to see a lot more green. Remember, it's never always going to be up only, guys. There are businesses in terms of liquidating you guys if you're taking leverage and being greedy, so be careful there.
Yeah, man. It from looking at your charts, it kind of looks like we're gonna go chop sideways until Sunday, and then maybe do and pick a direction on Sunday. That's what it kind of feels like to me. I'm curious if you feel that way as well.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody is expecting Bitcoin to be at like 108 right now, and hitting a new all-time high before the weekend. So when everybody's expecting, the entire space is expecting that. What does that mean? There's probably a lot of not so great traders that think they're so great, and I'm one of them. But that says, hey, I want to catch this ride. Well, you should have probably thought about that 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now that Bitcoin has hit this certain number, some of these alts have seen like a bullish kind of uptrend. This is the juicy time to hit stop losses and liquidate some 20x's, 30x's, and stuff like that. And once they're kind of, you know, feel like they've gotten enough of that, I'm pretty sure the continuation will happen.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But let's kind of get into the roll call here on this channel. First is first. And if you don't know what that means the first comment of every single day is recorded. Holy crap, Mempool Punk. he was blowing up the chat, my guy.
Well, I think there was a
you see that?
restart. There was a restart. You can see, and that's all X, by the way. The YouTube ones, yeah.
I'm seeing Lackey Lukey get that one, right?
Yeah, but look at the time on that.
1:39.
Oh, that was
PM
yesterday.
Yesterday. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
so
That
sometimes
counts.
X puts the X comments above. So it was definitely Lackey Lukey. Congratulations to you, my friend. You got the win today. And WebJoe, I did get you for yesterday, and I'll actually show this as soon as I get Lackey in here. Lackey, where's that my screen? All right, so here we go. All right, so I did get you, WebJoe. You have your 19th win of the year yesterday. Lackey Lukey, let's look like you have win number 15 on the year. Congratulations to both of you guys, man. Absolutely awesome. 2 more days left in this week, Thursday and Friday. Let's see who can finish the week off. But it looks like this week anyway, Lackey Lukey, WebJoe, and Lackey Lukey. Let's see if Lackey can get a 3-winner in a week, man. I don't think we've seen that since like WebJoe. Danny might have had one of those as well. Oh, Danny won 3 days in a row. So yeah, it has happened. So we will see. But shout out to you guys for making roll call each and every day. And shout out to Mempool Punk, man. I'm loving the comments over here. Raindrops and magnets and just a lot of comments, brother. ASAP Benji is here. Shout out to ASAP Benji. And then we have Danny Boy says, y'all lucky I'm at work. Shout out to Danny. He says smash that like and go Wolves. The Wolves look like they're about to take the next series, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I think
3-1.
Steph is out. Did Steph get hurt? Someone got hurt on that.
I know Tatum got hurt. Tatum's
oh yeah, that's done.
Yeah,
that's done.
Well, yeah, man. Lackey Lukey again. WebJoe is here. Rare Sats Dom says glad Ski God said 400x. Think the historic event as space narrative. Rare Sats like pizza. First Bitcoin sent to the easy explain. You know what are you talking about here? I don't remember.
Yeah, the black 9450 something like that.
Okay.
I think it's the very first Bitcoin that was used to as a purchase for something.
Gotcha. Shout out to Mr. Hanky, my guy, Lackey Lukey again. Fabi Malam Yuri. Shout out to Malam Yuri. 1+ ad is here. Moon Yacht Club is here. Dogs on air says GM, good to be here. We've been listening to your show for months now, but never bothered to comment. Today is the day. Shout out to you, my friend. Thank you so much for commenting. It means a lot. Nighthawk UXL is here. Ordinals Chips is here. Mempool Punk again from the YouTube side this time. Bitmap Capital is here. Shout out to Bitmap Capital. Spindrift says Tokyo Wallet has been awesome so far. Love the UI. Yes, it's one of the best UI that I've used when it comes to wallet wise. Chips and Dip is here. Kane99. Ivy Whittaker, one of our few comments over on Twitch. She said you guys should stream consistently because you're doing.
We are.
I mean, we do every day. I don't know how much more consistent we could be. It kind of reminds me of that Kobe Kanye thing where Kanye's like, how much do you want me to do, Kobe Bryant? He's like, more. We want you to do more. Chief Axel is here. Light is here. Vingus is here. Shout out to Vingus every single day this week, man. Thank you so much. Superfan is here. We got some X tweets here. In the Money is here. Followed by Mice Elf here every single day. Aaron said inscriptions in the way. Oh, was it Omen supposed to join us today? Did they? I guess they didn't.
Yeah, I think maybe something might have came up, but yeah, Omen was the early adopter for the NFT collections from Cardano. So shout out to them.
Yep. And then myself says first editions are always highly valued by collectors. Yes, 100%. Jason Borck. Oh yeah, that's the guy on the show. He said, thank you guys for having me on. Enjoyed listening in. Yeah, man. Thank you so much for coming on, man. It is crazy. I was staring at him like, I know this guy from somewhere. And then when he said he did YouTube and he said Phantom, I was like, I knew right away where I knew him from. And then Mark finishing it out says, great show, guys. Smash up that likes, people. Yes, please smash up that likes. All right, we got 8 minutes to the great guys over at Sats Terminal join us. So let's kind of get into some news here. I have a few things. So the SEC has delayed the decision on Grayscale spot Solana ETF. So we've seen this a lot. What are you thinking about this? Is this going to be continuation now? We're just going to see delay after delay.
Well, there was a post that came out from I forgot who's the chair of the digital assets of the SEC, the Hester Pierce, I think her name is, and she said that crypto needs regulation so it can move forward. So I mean, look, the government really does need to put the regulation out, and maybe they're waiting on that, and then they're gonna do it all together. I'm not sure. I don't think this is a big deal though.
Yeah. The SEC also delays the decision to allow in-kind redemptions for BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, seeking public feedback on the proposal. So BlackRock wants to do basically what it's doing with the Ethereum one, backing it 1-to-1, to where if much Bitcoin have you had there, you'll be able to withdraw it as Bitcoin instead of selling it in the cash. So you can avoid that tax redemption. I didn't realize that's the one way of doing it. If you want to get out of the, you don't have to sell it, the ETF, to hold your Bitcoin, you can actually just withdraw it, but the SEC delays the decision to allow that.
Again, I think it all comes into some rules and regulations they're looking for. I don't think they're trying to be like extra hard on anything, but it's like going blind, walking into just run, spinning circles and then picking a direction, and it's not feasible to think that like this is the way to do it. You know what I mean? So
100%. Coinbase, congratulations, the 13th birthday. Coinbase is officially 13. They said a birthday is just another building block. Today we turned 13, and it's still early. 13 years ago today, you were able to buy Bitcoin for just a few bucks. So that's pretty wild.
Yeah. Like I mentioned on the show earlier, or I think it was the show or pre-show, I bought my first Bitcoin with Coinbase in 2013. So a year after they launched, and they have onboarded, in my opinion, probably more people than anybody. So happy birthday to Coinbase.
Yeah, it seems like when Coinbase did launch, though, that the price immediately jumped up, because I think that 2012 was that halving year, right? So was that first halving year. So
makes sense.
Coinbase plans to launch a CB80A, CB Doge, CB LTC, and CB XRP wrap tokens on Base. So I'm thinking every token that is listed on Coinbase will have to have a wrapped version on Base. They're already custodian. It's easy for them to say one of one, right? So, but like, why do you think people would want Coinbase ADA, Coinbase Doge on the Base chain?
Maybe if there's like, I expect there to be some pretty robust protocols that are going to be launching on Base, whether that's some crazy perps or options would be make a lot of sense, right? They just acquired Deribit, right? And so having all these available on the on-chain side as well as centralized side makes sense if they're going to have products like options. You can have like the decentralized options or whatever, but look, there's also this big movement that happened this cycle in terms of being more on chain. Hyperliquid has really taken the spotlight on that, especially with their perps and leverage decks, but also they have spot. They have a lot of liquidity and a lot of interest, open interest constantly. And I think they feel like some of these centralized exchanges feel threatened a little bit, right? Binance, Bybit, that whole mafia in the East seemed like they kind of took it to Hyperliquid a bit. And then you have Magic Eden following up saying, hey, look, we're going to be the on-chain one-stop shop as well. They're a little bit more talk and less doing, because we're all waiting for the Slingshot and Runes integration. I know that's not going to be like one catalyst that saves everything, but when you hype something up like that and you're a big entity like Magic Eden, you got to follow through with that in a quick manner, in my opinion.
So what I'm thinking with this, and I could be wrong, is I'm thinking let's just say there's regulation around doing stuff on Coinbase, the actual chain, right? I'm sorry, the actual platform. Maybe there's some go arounds though of staking your ADA, and they're just like, hey, we'll just help you stake your ADA, but we'll actually do it on chain for you. So maybe there's some go arounds with staking that maybe in the law they're trying to get around, and actually if they do it on chain, well, we're just helping our users do it on chain. We're not actually doing it for them. Maybe there's some go arounds potentially, and some TVL narratives as well of locked to ADA lock Doge, lock Litecoin on base chain?
I feel like that you're not able to do that like for centralized people and then have like a decentralized approach to it, because then like you're not really having control over it, right? Like for example, if I'm using Coinbase directly as the centralized side and I'm not doing anything on the DeFi side, you know, I'm saying for them to do it, I think that's like such a headache, I would imagine, right? Because like when you buy something on the centralized side, it's, you know, all held in these specific NPCs. Now, I think Coinbase's approach to that is very secure. Probably like they have like probably quadruple 5 levels of security. But like, how would that make things more efficient if they were like, okay, you can on the centralized app, I want to stake my ADA, and then they take your ADA that
They won't have to. They'll just give you ADA and just because they're centralized, right? So they'll just give you ADA and say we unstaked it for you.
No, I want to stake it. You know what I mean?
So, all right, well, then they just take your ADA and say, hey, it's staked. They don't actually have to go stake it.
On what, though?
What do you mean? They'll take it on a centralized platform and say you deposit
yeah.
But it just goes into their vault, and they're saying, okay, we're taking 3 of those ADA that we have that you staked. They're yours, so you're earning on them. So they'll potentially show you that it's being staked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to be actually doing the processes as you do. They're just going to be papering it.
Like mirroring it in the sense of, and saying, okay, like this is how many we have staked and this is how many is available for people to say they want to stake, that kind of thing. That could work. That could work if that's the case. But I don't know. It's interesting to see what else they're going to do with these Coinbase wrapped assets.
It really is. It's really, really interesting to see what happens next with that. So Crypto Quant reports XRP seller absorption on Binance, signaling a potential breakout ahead. XRP has been this cycle a leading indicator. XRP has moved for one of the first coins. XRP, Doge, and a couple of these other ones have moved first. And then Bitcoin goes on its rampant momentum with them slowing down. Do you see potentially XRP kind of leading the way here, especially with this seller absorption on Binance? So, I mean, the sellers are just being eaten up. This XRP is just being taken away.
XRP's performed pretty well this cycle, right? And there's a lot
back up
of
to 260.
Yeah, 255 is what I'm seeing right now. But I mean, and there's a lot of expectation. There's a lot of institutional interest as well. I don't know what's going to go first, what's going to lead the way, all those things. I feel like data trends is kind of hasn't worked this year really, except for the M2 money supply. That's really the only thing that's been consistent from previous data trends. So but I think Bitcoin's still going to continue an aggressive push up, but once we get some of those things we've been asking for like the QE quantitative easing, I think that's whenever these alts will go crazy. But some of these leading blue chip ones, they do kind of go off on their own. XRP, Cardano, Solana, stuff like that. Solana is weird because we saw Solana really thrive last Q4. I think it got to 200 and something, right?
Yeah, around there. It got to like 260, 270, didn't it? Then it wasn't near 300, I think. So.
Somewhere around there. And right now it's kind of stuck at that 150. So we're still kind of far away from the performance that they saw last Q4.
And again, though, I don't think we need quantitative easing. I just think we need to think that we're getting quantitative easing, meaning like if the PPI comes out, I don't know if it's coming out tomorrow or whenever. I know there's a gap now between the CPI and the PPI, but that could be an indicator as well. I just think we need a few indicators to make us think that we're about to go in rate cut season or in the quantitative easing for us to really kind of go forward with a lot of people coming in and buying the rumor.
Yeah. One thing I've been able to catch myself with, and I feel really good about this, is not getting overly like excited about the current run up that we've seen. Because the times that we've seen that, and I experienced it in this year, at least 2025, it hasn't been, fully, we're not there yet. Right. And so for me, I've been able to prepare myself mentally by saying, hey, like, don't get too excited. Remember what happened last time. And then once it does happen, it's like the cherry on top for me. Okay, now we're here.
100%. All right, guys, it is 12:30 on a Wednesday, and you guys know what that means. Every 12:30 on Wednesday Eastern time, we have the great guys from Sats Terminal on. Sats Terminal is the one-stop shop to buy runes. If you're thinking about buying runes, make sure you check Sats Terminal first, because they will give you the best price, meaning they are an aggregator. They're aggregating from DotSwap, from RuneStacks, from Magic Eden, from pretty much everywhere. Right. But so if you don't check Sats Terminal first, you're actually making a mistake. You actually could be paying more than you have to. So definitely check out Sats Terminal. We're lucky enough to have the guy himself, the CEO from Sats Terminal, Stan, joining the show. So without further ado, let's bring up Stan. Stan, welcome to OnChain Revolution. Thank you so much for being here, buddy.
What's up, guys? Yeah, I totally agree with you. The users are making not a big mistake, but actually a huge mistake if they're going to buy runes in another place than Sats Terminal, because on average, you get from 3 to 10% more runes if you're doing a trust, especially if it's a big order. So yeah, definitely go to appsatsterminal.com and buy your runes.
Yeah.
How's it going, guys?
It's going well. It's been a long morning. We've been like, I would say we're going on what, 2.5 hours of streaming, but it's been really great. It's been educational. We had the guys from Tokeo on, which you guys have also partnered with, and it's been good. It shows that people are wanting to learn and be educated about what's happening with the Bitcoin ecosystem. But you yourself, you've been traveling a little bit. The team has been doing a lot. Could you update the audience and community on what Sats Terminal's been up to lately?
Yeah, I was traveling quite a lot, and like just yesterday we came back from Draper Summit. We've been there for 2 days. It was a 40-year anniversary. So for the listeners that don't know, Tim Draper is a legendary investor that started investing in 1985. He did like incredible deals to Coinbase. He was first investor in Tesla. He was the first investor to start giving money to space companies, particularly SpaceX, and a bunch of other like top tier products like Robinhood, Coinbase, Skype. Back in the days, there was also Baidu and Hotmail. And right now, he is very much looking into crypto, and especially in the Bitcoin ecosystem, because also for the people who don't know, he bought a bunch of Bitcoins in 2014 after the Silk Road accident. So he's quite a significant holder and very bullish on pretty much what we all are doing here. Yeah, and we've been there spending time with a bunch of great, talented founders, talking with them about some of our plans. And I think we will have a couple of very interesting conversations next week, especially in regards to adding some new features to our platform. So I think maybe next Wednesday I can preview and talk a little bit more about that, because we still need to make those calls. But yeah, overall, 10 out of 10 positive, 100%.
Definitely excited for that. I think I know what you're talking about, but I want to take it back to the Draper University. I'm somebody who I'm really interested in that process. So how does it work? Let's say you get to San Francisco, right? You're there. What is a day in the life of somebody at this university?
So we were not a part of university. We've been a part of their accelerator, and they have like multiple different programs. They have accelerator and programs with Cardano right now. They just finished the one with Stellar. We've been a part of the Bitcoin 5 program, which I think is probably the best program they have right now. And currently they have the second batch, and it works like you just apply through the form. Then you have the first interview where you have like 3 to 5 minutes to pitch your product. You have like 1 or 2 questions. Then if you get selected, you go to the second interview. Then you have a little bit more time to go deep into the tech, traction, etc. And then if you get selected, you get the deal. If you get the deal, you're getting into the accelerator. And then I think it's like 6 or 7 weeks. And you're going through multiple topics, starting from like basic operations, legal, finance, etc., and ending with preparing your pitch deck and doing a live demo day in San Mateo on Draper University. And of course, this is an incredible opportunity for any founder, for any company, because you get a bunch of eyeballs of top investors looking at you, because they're watching the demo days. They're very much interested in what's happening. Plus, if they see that investor like Draper is leading the round, if they're investing in those projects, that's already a very good sign.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good for like the reputation and portfolio of investors in the projects, right? And that gets me really bullish about the Bitcoin ecosystem because the how much interest Tim Draper and his company has in developing out this ecosystem means that they have a lot of belief. And this is a guy that came into Bitcoin in 2014, so it's not like he's just coming from like Silicon Valley and saying, "Hey, I want to get into crypto investment now." What type of advice would you give like a new startup in terms of like going through that process, right? You said the first meeting is a 1 to 3 minute pitch. That sounds nerve-wracking. Like what kind of advice maybe you could give like a new project that's attempting this?
I mean, just be prepared. That's it. Like I saw a bunch of people that were coming to, like, especially the first interview. We had like, I think for our budget, they had the 120 to 150 applications overall. They selected about 32 teams for the first round. And then the second round, there was about like 15, 16 teams, and they picked 8 out of them. Some people were just, I felt like they were just not 100% prepared. I think you need to work on that deck. You need to work on your storytelling skills. You need to get feedback from your advisors, investors, community. If you don't have investors and advisors, ask your mom, your friend, whatever. But just be prepared, because we've seen people that were very confident, but then when it goes to pitching, it was not the best experience, let's say. So I think it's quite important. If you're confident, they see that, and in the end of the day, like, VC is a psychology game.
100%. You said one thing that really sticks out to me, and it's storytelling. And that is such a skill set that, whether you're in sales, whether you're pitching as a startup or whatever, any aspect of life, if you're trying to get a new girlfriend or something, like, storytelling is such a great skill set to have. And I think that more people need to, focus on that. That's something that I've been trying to focus on myself as well, but appreciate that feedback. Now let's get back to kind of SaaS Terminal here. You guys are constantly, adding features, updates. You have a cracked out CTO. You have, that can often like build like a protocol in a day. Are there any updates to like the current UI or anything that you could talk about?
Yeah. Do you want to see the cracked CTO? Cracked CTO
Yes.
is just right here, sitting right next to me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
He's a definitely cracked CTO.
Yeah. I mean, we are pushing a very big update, and I think it will go either live today or tomorrow. As we were teasing already recently, that Alkanes are going live, so that would be ready very, very much soon. And a couple of other tweaks on the UI UX. We updated the search dialog. So right now, when you go with the new version of the search, it will be uploading much faster and it will be looking slightly better. We added a couple of UI UX tweaks. And I think what is the most important update for me personally is that the speed of loading, speed of fetching the quotes is significantly increased. So right now, after the new update, when you would go to SaaS Terminal, you would get the quotes much faster, and it would be even better experience. And of course, like, we are looking into best cases that we see on the market. We are checking how people are doing that also in other ecosystems. For example, I'm a very big fan of how Uniswap is working. I think it's one of the best swaps right there, with a very clean design, with a very clean functionality. And we are trying to keep it also simple, yet very much sophisticated on the backend side.
Yeah, 100%. So you guys are in the same room. What's that like? I mean, I know you guys, have been in different time zones for a while now. What's it like working with the team in the same room? Is there any difference to that, or is it still the same?
It's 100% different, much better. Because when you're working remotely, you're getting sucked into the operations part, because obviously, like, we have insane amount of work, like 50, 60 reminders, a bunch of calls every day, like 8 to 10 calls, and you need to do that work, and you're getting sucked into the operations. You don't have time to just walk outside of the office, have a conversation about business, think about something together. And when you're in the same room, you have that opportunity, and I think that's beautiful. Like, even on Saturday, I just arrived to Safri. Shab was meeting me here in the airport, and we were driving in the car. And I'm like, oh, I just arrived after the 13-hour flight. I'm so exhausted. Let's not talk about work. 2 minutes in the car, we are talking about work, and we figure out a couple of ideas just on the way home, like that 20 minutes ride. And I think it's beautiful, and I think it's great.
Yeah,
and
an old
also
saying that
like
I love.
And also, you were asking previously about the advice for the founders. I think early days, if you have an opportunity to work together, that increases your chances significantly to be successful. I was even reading a study recently that early stage startups that are working together in the same room, they have 64% higher chance of actually getting the funding round secured and overall getting your startup successful. Because otherwise, we all know that like there's only 1% chance that you're getting successful. 99% of startups fail. But if you're working together, that would be not 1%, but slightly bigger chance, right?
Yeah, that's incredible. And like back to your car ride, right? Like the old saying, you know, be obsessed or be average, right? You can either, if you're not obsessed about what you do, if you can't just talk about it for fun, then you'll just always be an average company. But it seems like you guys are obsessed over this stuff, so that's awesome.
100%. That's in the end of the day, that's business, and that's a big part of the life. And I think also, well, I was talking about this recently with someone, that when you start a startup, everything else becomes not important. Like you're going on like sort of a small trip or something, you're still thinking about your business, how you can make it work. You're thinking about the stuff that you need to do. And I think that's the only way. It can be like, you know, just half actions. You have to be 100% dedicated with 100% conviction.
Yeah. I mean, look at Elon Musk, right? Like the guy was sleeping in his office and doing all these crazy things. I'm not saying necessarily go to that extent, right? You probably need to see your kids once a week or something. But yeah, man. And what you guys have been able to do in the short period of time is really partner with a lot of the infrastructure big players, right? And I expect that to kind of continue because people are reaching out to you guys aggressively and saying, hey, how can we get connected? How can we be a part of this, you know, aggregator application infrastructure? And you mentioned Uniswap earlier. So Uniswap, obviously the fundamental differences between that EVM approach and where we are now would be stuff like liquidity pools and staking and adding liquidity directly from the UI. Is that something that possibly could be in the works later, but you might have to wait on the UTXO kind of tech to catch up? Or are you guys not really thinking about that part of it?
Not yet, really. Right now, it's more like, let's get all of the protocols integrated. Let's add all of the instrumentary to the platform. Let's make sure that people can go to Sats Terminal and get what they're looking for in the Bitcoin DeFi space. And then, of course, we will be looking forward and prioritizing what would make sense. And we have pretty straightforward approach. If we see that things are working, then we're just doubling down on that. And that's pretty much it. I think right now what is important to get more distribution, get more partnerships, get more integrations through the door. And that's kind of true because like usually we get from like 3 to 4 people writing us every day, hey, let's do something together. Let's integrate. Let's figure out marketing campaigns. Let's do a tech integration. And I think it's tremendous. It's beautiful.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the best thing you guys can do right now is I would steer away from holding the LP, right? So we're seeing a lot of other projects, you know, kind of, you know, get hacks and stuff like that. I'm not worrying about that with Sats Terminal. Like you guys are just aggregating, you know, all the best places. That's the one thing that I truly love about Sats Terminal. My question for you now is you know, so you can actually see what's happening in the back end. You guys can see what's happening on chain when it comes to runes, which is kind of like your biggest selling point right now, the best place to buy runes. Are you guys seeing, especially in the last couple of weeks, a lot of big buys coming in through your decks and through the ecosystem?
Yes, we are seeing that. I wouldn't say like even the last couple of days. I would say this like last 2-3 weeks. Since the trend for Bitcoin started changing, it also influenced the trend for runes and Bitcoin assets as well. So I think it's always correlated. You see the Bitcoin price going up, runes are going up as well. And we are all like looking into Bitcoin, crypto, Twitter. We also see that with ordinals, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Definitely, and man, that would be cool to kind of have that public facing, because then everybody would be like sharing that and be like, up, up, up. Yeah, we're going more. The volume's increasing, but you can obviously see it in the market caps and stuff like that. But yeah, so if you had to pick one thing that you're most excited about that's coming up, you mentioned something earlier with Alkanes, but I'm not sure if that's it. What would be that one thing maybe the audience could get like excited about that's coming?
Well, I'm excited about the new product release that is being like it's already finished. We're just figuring out where it will go live today or tomorrow. I'm very excited about that part because it would improve the whole platform quite significantly. We're adding a couple of other features. There will also be a sidebar, by the way, like when you click on your wallet right now. Oh, Rishabh is here.
I was just saying the sidebar.
Yeah, sidebar is a cool thing. Like it would be sort of like Uniswap. When you click on your wallet, you see all of the balances. But with us, you would see the balances of your runes. So you would see the balance of BTC, and that might be quite helpful for the traders as well. Aside of that, we are also actively working on the Ember, right? And a lot of quests are being added. We are working on a lot of campaigns. We're working on a big partner campaign right now. We are planning to provide boosted rewards for all of the partners if they are doing transactions through Sats terminal. So I think that would be quite cool. And we will announce it very soon, but it will be first season for 90 days. And people will be able to farm Ember. And in the end of the season, we will do a big raffle. We will share prizes and rewards from our partners, because I was talking with a bunch of runes projects. Everyone is very much excited about this part. Some of them were reach out to us directly. Hey, can we send you some runes so you can send it to people? I'm like, of course. People like free stuff. Let's do that. That's amazing.
Exactly. Yeah, man. You guys recently had this really cool thing. I actually participated in it as well. It's creating Ricky memes, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You got your 15,000 Ember. I saw it in the post.
So that's amazing. That was really cool. Could you talk about that a little bit? How was that first really one of your first real pushes?
I think we got like about couple dozen different memes. Some of them were really funny and nice, and I saw that people were obviously some people were using just ChatGPT, but some people were using manual like meme generator or something and putting like funny stuff together. So that's cool, and I think that's yeah it's here. Yeah, and a bunch of cool stuff, and that's great because people will be able to farm Ember, and that would be pretty much the OG season, first season. So holders of the Ember now, they would probably benefit the most. Not probably.
So I just want a crap load of Ember. Let's go.
Let's go.
Real quick to hanging out on boats out there, huh?
That's when dog hits $1 billion, yeah.
Yeah, boats and O's is what they call it. Boats and O's. But yeah, that's exciting. And for the audience that's wondering what's Amber, it is the Sats terminal point system that they're going to be using for their community and to earn and stuff like that. And that will be associated with Alpha. And you guys can kind of take that and put it in your brain and let that simmer and try to figure out what that means. But I will say exciting things in the future.
Yeah. And real quick on that. So I've noticed every time I open up a new wallet with Sats terminal, I get 1,000 Amber. I'm not sure if you guys know about that, but it's just opening a wallet and just connecting your wallet to Sats terminal immediately gets you 1,000 Amber. So
that's true. That's to just kickstart the things, but 1,000, it's pretty much like to put the foot through the door, right? But like you would get much more Amber through transacting through us. If you do one big transaction, you get significantly more Amber than just 1,000, right? And also the partner quest that we are also planning right now. By the way, we will also have a leaderboard for Amber holders. So we would see all the people, how much Amber they accumulated through doing transactions. And I already checked it on our staging environment, and some of the people, they are like true runes whales, and yeah, you see that they're already having quite a significant amount of Ember there. And just to add on this, when you're transacting through any of our partner integrations, you're also getting Ember. So you go to Xworth Wallet, you buy through Magic Eden, boom, you got Ember points. You go to Liquidium, you buy runes or sell runes through their widget. You also get Ember, and all of our other partners, Tokeo Wallet as well.
Yeah, I've been using you guys through Tokeo Wallet because I'm just a big fan of their UI. And I noticed that when I do trades, I'm not seeing the Amber. In the future, will there be somewhere I can go maybe put my wallet address somewhere and kind of see the Amber that I've earned?
Yeah, I mean, like if you, so for example, you use the certain wallet address through your Tokeo wallet, you go to our platform, you connect that wallet through SATS terminal, you see Ember.
I'll see it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think like just adding that to the partner integrations, that might be a little bit too much because it will be a little bit too clunky. You want to keep the experience very easy, and I think the product teams of the partners, they would not accept that. That would be just a little bit too much on the front. I wouldn't want to add that. If I would be a wallet, I wouldn't want to add it. That's a great feature. We can amplify it, we can promote it, but not adding it.
Yeah, I agree. You want to keep it sleek, the UI sleek as possible. What is it called? The minimalistic approach, but you can always go to the SATS terminal homepage and see what your balance is and all that stuff. So
exactly.
Exciting stuff, man. I know that you guys are super, super busy. And where you guys are, I'm not gonna say location, but I think I know. But you guys are constantly putting out new features. We're excited to hear the new updates next week, and keep doing what y'all are doing because it's definitely drawing a lot of attention. And guys, make sure that you guys are swapping on SATS terminal. It is the most liquidity, best pricing you're gonna get. So,
and also I think what is important to add, because Shizzy was mentioning the security aspect of some of the individual partners. When you are working with like some of those IMMs, you might get some security edge cases, some potential security exposure. Like if you put the money in the pool, there something might happen. We all saw a couple of hacks happening 1 or 2 months ago. With SATS terminal, it's not possible. If something is not working on the partner side, the transaction will just not go through on our side. And then we would see that instantly. We will just disable the root until it's fixed. So if you also want to protect your wallet and you don't want someone to drain all of your BTC, all of your precious BTC, you connect your wallet to SATS terminal. That will never happen because we're using the best security practices there. And you don't have exposure to individual partner issues.
Exactly. Because they don't hold the liquidity actually there. They are the aggregator. So makes a ton of sense. And we're looking forward to next week whenever we have you guys on again.
Thank you. I'll be there.
All right, Stan. We will talk to you later, sir.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you, buddy. That's really awesome, man. Stan's awesome. Stan's really cool. It was awesome that we met him back in February, and he's been through all the amazing things that's happening. He hasn't changed, right? A lot of founders, when you talk to them 6 months later, especially when their project is doing as good as SATS terminal, their head got bigger, right? Stan seems to be that same cool, calm, collective guy.
Yeah, 100%, right? And they've gotten all the support. And I feel like they have a really full team too, right? Like from every aspect. The CEO, he's the leader that guides everybody. You have the crack CTO that we've seen.
What does that mean, by the way? Because I hear that differently being a Philly.
Yeah. Definitely. But basically it means that, they can create anything. They're like extremely talented. They stay awake, drink coffee all the time, one eye open, still coding, that type of approach. And then you have Cyclops, right? From like the community building side. So exciting stuff from them, guys. Remember, you still have time. We haven't done the raffle yet for the Tokeo Smart Wallet for the Bitcoin Blitz 13,000 Dog Go to the Moon tokens giveaway. All you have to do is go to a Apple app store or the Google Play Store if you have an iPhone or Android. Download the Tokeo wallet, take a screenshot of it, and then head over to this X Spaces that you're watching this on. If you're on the X side, if you're on YouTube, head over to the X side, put that image in the comments there, and you will qualify. right? So it's free. You can win. Very easy. There's I think about 5 to 7 submissions right now, so you got a really good shot. But yeah, man, I think that's a pretty good show, right, today.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Awesome. We got a total of about 1,200 people that tuned in today, man. What an amazing turnout.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it shows that they want to be educated. We thank you guys so much. Without you guys, we couldn't do this every day. And we are so grateful, and humbled to be able to do this. And if you could check out our partners, we greatly appreciate it. We just went over Sats Terminal, but I'll touch on them again. They are a swap aggregator DEX for runes. Currently, he announced Alkanes is coming. So you crazy guys that are into the Alkanes standard, that will be added soon as well. But they're going to find the most liquid and best pricing for you guys for runes currently, and eventually Alkanes as well. You can earn the Amber points as you see right there in the middle. Just for connecting your wallet, you get 1,000, and that goes to a future thing that they're gonna be able to offer the community. But super exciting stuff. You head over to satsterminal.io. You can start swapping today. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They utilize ICP and Bitcoin technology for you guys to be able to place bets. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet, and some Bitcoin and 6 Bitcoin blocks. We got to see under the hood today a lot of amazing things coming, guys. You can actually place bets in their Blitz 10-minute markets for taking kind of a perps approach for Bitcoin, Solana, or BNB. So yeah, if you sign up for an account, you get 50 points towards their point system as well. And you head over to betbtc.win. You can start participating right now. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability tooling for the Bitcoin ordinals ecosystem. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet. And then once they have that vault ready, you can actually jump your ordinals from Bitcoin to Abstract to Merlin to Base to Solana as well. And their agent AI Hustle is going nuts. Everybody's talking about it. Hustle can actually help you trade in the Solana ecosystem. Eventually, they're going to add Bitcoin to it as well. Don't forget about their Rune TGE in September for the Emblem Founder Vault. You can actually purchase those in a pre-sale environment on OpenSea today. Head over to emblem.vision and you can dive into everything they have to offer. And then Artura Finance is perps and leverage of the Bitcoin ecosystem. You'll be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungible tokens like Sats, Ordi, Doggo to the Moon, as well as popular tokens outside the ecosystem, XRP, Tau, Ethereum. But if you're not a trader and you want to participate and earn passive yield, you can add liquidity to their vaults. They're going to go live soon on Hemi Bitcoin Layer 2, which is backed by Binance Labs, as well as Botonic's Bitcoin Layer 2 here in the next 2 to 4 weeks. So exciting times for them. Head over to artura.finance and dig into their docs and learn about what they are bringing to the Bitcoin ecosystem. And then Fluid Tokens, big announcement. They just launched their Aquarium bridge from Bitcoin to Cardano. You're going to be able to bridge runes and other assets back and forth, as well as their staking vaults that they offer on Bitcoin Layer 1. They were the first to offer those guys. They have their Doggo to the Moon staking vault that is going to unlock in about 15 days. It's going to be close to the Bitcoin 2025 conference. These guys are constantly building. If you are a founder of a collection or you have a runes etched with an established community, head over to their Discord, ask all the questions that you have. They have a team waiting for you guys over there. You can also head over to fluidtokens.com and you can dive into their docs as well. And then Tokeo Wallet is a smart wallet that focuses on multi-chain, guys. They started on Cardano. Now they're really focused on Bitcoin, and they're going to be adding more environments in the future. But you can actually swap for runes directly in their interface with their UI. As they partnered with Sats Terminal, we just mentioned that. Exciting times for this team, man. They do have a token actually called Toke, and it is a Cardano token, but we'll see what they decide to do with that maybe in the future with interoperability. You never know with the way the Bitcoin ecosystem is going. But what you can do is you can download the wallet, you can test it out, and let us know if there are any features that you want added or anything like that. Feedback would be greatly appreciated. Head over to Tokyo.io to learn about that team. And then Merlin Chain uniting Bitcoin strength with the power of AI. Merlin Chain has been an OG in the space, the first to really kick off the Bitcoin layer 2 of 2024 ecosystem. You can actually bridge native Bitcoin assets over to Merlin Chain. But if you want to help secure the chain, you can participate in the proof of stake by heading over to merlinchain.io, clicking on stake, and stake your Merlin Chain tokens. You can earn 15% APR. It's an amazing rate there, but look out for future partnerships with these guys. They are working on getting, partnered up with Sui blockchain. They are a part of the Wrapped Bitcoin DAO. There's only, I think, like 10, maybe 11 total members of that. So, it's going to really, in my opinion, it's going to help their wrapped version of Bitcoin a lot. The MBTC that's worked its way over to ChaChing already. So head over to merlinchain.io, learn more about what they are going to offer. And don't forget, lastly, about our integrated partners in Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, as well as Ordinal Hive, where you can, find the cheapest ordinals around on Bitcoin layer 1 and layer 2, as they are an ordinal aggregator platform. But we thank you guys so much for checking us out for 3 hours, 1,200 of you guys. we appreciate it.
Yep. And if you guys wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel you can help them get started and code up to where we are today. Guys, we have some of the best, amazing articles. Go back, check them out. If you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend Nord. I actually have 2 accounts now. I have 5 devices on one and 5 devices on the other. You can get up to 5 devices with one Nord account. It's $3 a month. I think I locked it in for 2 years, paid the $66. I am locked in. Forget about it, and I can always use it whenever I need it. You guys can download it, put it up here in your your pins, and click it whenever you need it, or if you leave it always on. That is up to you. I highly recommend Nord. If you guys don't want to use Nord and want a free VPN, there's free ones out there. But what Nord brings to the table is you're able to pick an area where you want to be. Like, I like Switzerland. I like El Salvador. I like to mix it up in different places to kind of always change it up. I don't want to give my real IP to these websites. I go on a lot of airdropping type of websites to where I'm trying to use it for the first time. I use, a MetaMask that I don't care about, right? If it gets hacked, it gets hacked. I think I have a little bit of ETH in there. So when I'm doing my airdrop stuff, I don't want to give them my IP. I definitely have my NordVPN on at all times. Definitely check that out. And if you guys are going to Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas, get your tickets through us. It really helps the show. They're going to get really expensive soon, so get them as soon as possible. And if you need merch for that event or any event, check out our store tab here, and that'll bring you to our third-party Shopify. And you guys can get some of the best stuff. We're going to be adding some stuff here very shortly, probably after Vegas. A bunch of the newest projects around the space, maybe some different stuff. But if you want us to add anything, if you're like, hey, can you guys add a snack shirt? Or can you guys add, a dog with hat shirt? We can pretty much add anything for you guys. Just let us know, and then it'll be on here forever. So you can buy it, they can buy it. Whatever, right? We'll have it in our store for anybody and everybody. So check it all out here at OnChainRevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific. I know this week we've been on at 10. So the rest of this week we'll be on at 10 and maybe Monday as well. But normally we go live at 11. So check us out, guys. And until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution, roll call, market recap. You're not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.